2017 클래시 로얄 크라운컵 글로벌 시리즈를 경기 속에서 확인해 보겠습니다. 똥마법까지 들어가면서 마무리됩니다. 준 선수
강력한 한 방이 될 수 있어요. 여유가 없었습니다.
준 선수 3대1로 점수 3포인트 먼저 가져옵니다. 두 번째 경기를 준비하고 있는 중앙지역 선수와 윤겔라 선수.
여기 있었네요.
이게 뭐냐,
너무
무지막지하게 때리고 있어요.
이거는 너무 안 좋죠.
이미 파이팅을 혼자 외치고 있는 그런 모습이에요. 자, 윤겔라 선수 3대2.
네.
쉽지 않은 그런 경기였었죠.
이거
한 번 더.
센데요?
마지막 로켓 날아갑니다. 마지막 두 개의 세트를 내리 가져오는 중앙지역 선수. 경기력이 굉장히 좋은 준 선수와 윤겔라 선수. 윤겔라는 이런 조금씩 들어가는 이 데미지를 누적시키는 게 아주 그냥 전문 분야예요.
이거 너무 센데요.
Welcome to Clash Royale Crown Championship Global Series Korea, day number 3. My name's G-Clef, and here we have Simon. It's been a long time since the last day, right?
Yeah, so we had the Korean Thanksgiving holiday where we all disappear for 10 days?
It was a long holiday, entire weekend. It was more than 10 days, I believe. I had some resting time. And how was it, Simon, for you?
Busy.
Busy?
Nothing but driving around for 10 days, traveling around.
It was fun. I actually went back to US for a week, and in the airport, I met a friend who was playing Clash Royale. But let's go into the overview. They have to cut me off right there. When we have some breaks in the middle, I'll just tell that story to everyone. But as usual, best of 5, we're having the double round robin system with the points. If you win, you get 3 points. Tie 1 point, lose, you get nothing.
Yeah, so we're still in the round of 8, and it is, as you said, the double round robin. What we're looking at here is the global bans. So basically, each player gets to ban 1 card per match, and they have 60 seconds, roughly, after the ban to change things around.
Of course, when we first start after the ban, we have 3 minutes to collect all the mines, really just build your decks, because once you get into the game, you will only have a minute to change after the game has started. And we have gone through day number 1 and 2. This is the 3rd day. Basically, almost all of them have played against each other. Not everyone, but after today, everyone will actually have versed each other in Group A and Group B. So there may be some new matches or rematches coming up for Group A today.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be one game which hasn't been played already, and then the others are going to be the second time they've seen each other. So maybe they have something prepared this time.
Let's see, as Group A, as you guys know, Group A, Hamasu, Jun, Yungyela, the 2 popular YouTubers, and Jungang. Group B, starting with from top, Charshu, Ido, Expo Master, and Zebra. We got to see plays from every single one of them, and some of them having some signature cards, and some of them not really just having the signature card, try to counter the other player. Do you think the players are going to stick with their original plan, or do you think we'll see some changes after the update? We do have to talk about the update because it just came in live not even 24 hours ago.
Yeah, so I think there will be some changes. Last time, Yungelá was very dependent on that graveyard card, and it has seen a bit of a change this time round.
Well, as you guys can see, the prize pool is the same. It's not going to be changed. But lots of coins dropping, as you guys always see, but I think the quest and also the big changes in the game, the balance, will be somewhat affected. But as we talked to Yungelá right before the broadcast, and we asked him, how do you think it's going to go with the update? Do you see it? Do you feel any changes? He said, not much. Well, it's only been less than a day. Maybe we'll see some new trends into the deck building. But for today, I think we will be sticking to the original plans that they had in their minds.
Yeah, so I don't think much is going to change today. Like, these players have only had, what, 18 hours with the patch? Because it updated last night at midnight in Korean time. So I don't think they've had chance to try out the new Tesla damage. I don't think they've tried much Sparky, but nobody really does. And the fixes to characters like Mega Knight and the Bandit, huge changes, even though they were just fixes.
Yeah, there are some fixes and also some balance updates as we will walk you guys through it as we see the units used. We'll basically give you guys what changed with the update, with the October 9th update. But today's matchup, as you see, match number 1, Hamas on the left, and in red versus UNGELLA. Match number 2, June on left, and on the right, Jungang in red. Match number 3, Hamas versus June. So seems like June will be going against twice in a row, and the fourth one is Jungang versus UNGELLA. So UNGELLA playing 2 times today, and also June will be playing twice today. So seems like they will be the first one to actually have all their matches finished.
Yeah, so today I think UNGELLA can actually qualify for the next round straight off if he wins both games today. Like, I think he'll be 4-0 if he does that, and I don't think anyone else could catch him up at that point because everyone else is 1-1.
Yeah, if he basically he's the only one with 2-2. But let's take a look at the players for the match.
조금 많이 떨려가지고요. 멘탈적으로 많이 흔들렸습니다.
드디어 빈팀이 생겼어요.
잔 실수들이 조금 많았었고요. 상대에 대한 파악이 아직 잘 안 됐었던 것 같습니다. 조금 많이 아쉽습니다. 윤겔라님이 독을 굉장히 잘 쓰시는 것 같아요. 다음 경기 때는 독을 카운터 치거나 아니면 독을 밴하는 쪽으로 생각하고 있습니다. 윤겔라님이랑 승부는 제가 예측을 잘 하는 편이거든요. 그래서 50대 50이라고 생각합니다. 윤겔라님. 한번 경험을 해봤기 때문에 더 완벽한 준비를 해서 서력을 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 윤겔라님, 각오하세요.
갑자기 왜 그랬지? 아주 이겨서 기분이 좋았어요. 광부를 밴을 할 것 같다는 생각이 들었어요. 그게 약간 예측이 맞아 떨어졌고, 준이랑 했을 때도 고블린통이 처음에 나올 것 같다 했는데 또 고블린통이 처음에 나왔고. 행운의 여신이 저한테 오지 않았나 생각이 들어요. 해모수님 보니까 베일에 쌓여 있었는데 경기력 자체는 너무 좋았던 것 같아요. 아, 이거 만만히 준비하면 저 큰일 나겠다. 그래서 특별한 덱을 준비해 왔습니다. 저번 경기에서 예측을 정말 잘하지 않았습니까? 어떤 덱들을 준비하셔도 제 예측 범위 내에서 벗어나지 않을 거라 생각합니다. 기대하세요.
Well, we took a look at the players, but UNGELLA, his prediction on those ban cards were on point after watching that VCR.
Yeah, so I think he knows kind of what people want to ban. Like, his gameplay is always out there. He does a lot of YouTube videos. He produces a lot of content, so people could just sit there and watch through all his stuff.
Oh, even the young ones are here to watch the match, and I think after just all the players, after watching the opponents play once, they will try to counter. At least they have to have one deck to counter just to bring it into the match, but they will also prepare something special. As UNGELLA said, he said he had brought some very special deck for today. I wonder what that is going to be, but here we have Hamas on the screen for now.
Yeah, so in the first day, he went 1-3 against June and then 2-3 against Jungang, and this is the first time he's going to be playing UNGELLA. He didn't do very well on the first day. Like, he did throw away a big advantage. He was 1-1 and then the nerves got the better of him, as he said. I think he was 2-1 up. He just needed to finish it off and he ended up losing.
Yep, and it seemed like he was nervous at some point. He made some mistakes of being late to reactive against all the cards coming up against him. But here we have UNGELLA, 5,000, and not just the trophy, but he won pretty. Not with a 3-0, but he knew how to deal against, how to make the deck, how to counter within the match. I think experience really came in handy for UNGELLA. I think it's going to be very similar if we talk about the match today because he is up against an inexperienced player, Hamas.
Yeah, so Hamas isn't really big on the scene at all, but UNGELLA has been around for a long time. He was in the first Clash tournament. Oh, a Miner and a Hog Rider. This takes out a lot of a lot of the, I want to say cheesy decks, like the Hog Rider, the Miner. Interesting choices. Like, I'd have thought that Hamas would have been happy to use the Miner.
I think because he saw so many, especially Yungela's second match from day number 1, he was using lots of miners to just do some minor damage over time and just take one Princess Tower down. I think it had to be done, which was somewhat expected from Yungela, I would say. I would actually say that was a very common ban. Yungela should be ready for it. Banning a Hog Rider for Hamas, which he tried to use, he failed already. But just having that out seems like a big threat, if you ask me.
Yeah, so the gameplay actually between the two groups is very, very different. We had Group A, who were more about the chip damage, like Yungela's poison, the miners, the Hog Riders. Like, it was damage over time. It was just dealing more damage to the towers, just letting the match go the whole 3 minutes. But in Group B, we saw the opposite. We saw hyper-aggression. We saw trying to burst down the towers as soon as possible.
Yeah, Group B, we saw lots of heavy pushes in like Golem, Inferno Dragons. But Group A, we had very light decks, having graveyards, having miners, or even just having bandits. Now they'll have 3 minutes to build all their decks, but they will also have minute every single time after the game to change around some things. But I think they have to use all this time to build multiple decks because they will only have a minute later on.
Yeah, and I also think that the banning to the Miner and the ban to the Hog Rider are both huge deck changers. Like, most of your decks, you can replace the Hog Rider with the Miner and it'll still work pretty well, but he can't do that this time. They're going to have to probably change their decks from the ground up.
And the big story for game number 1, as you concluded, the MVP for the day, the MVP card was the Elixir Collector, I believe.
Yeah, the Elixir Collector was just
and that's still open, and which is a great tool if you have a heavier deck. Once you have that on the ground, if there's no rocket to counter, even if you have the rocket from the other side, it also makes them use the rocket. Once they don't have that in their hand, once you have the Elixir getting some value, getting some worth of it, then we saw lots of players just having that advantage and just keep rolling from that moment. You think we'll see another sets of Elixir Collectors tonight?
I think we're going to see slightly faster games today. I don't think we're going to see too many Elixir Collectors, but every time I make a prediction, I end up being horribly wrong. So every game is going to have at least 2 Elixir Collectors.
Okay, so I think you're covering both sides now after realizing your predictions just did not went correctly for day 1 and 2.
I have to. Like, I keep making stupid things like Yungela will win, and then I don't know. Do you think we will see Tesla Tower today? Like, it has had a pretty big buff.
I think maybe as a surprise card, maybe once, or even Sparky. We saw a few Sparkies happening over 2 days. I think Tesla Tower less likely. I think the big problem for Tesla Tower right now is the range, actually.
Yeah.
So, of course, with that damage, I believe 41%, it's a good deal of damage to be increased and to take out some small units at once.
Yeah,
but
so before it couldn't take out a minion on its own, but now one shot kills 1 minion, which does make it a little bit more useful.
Maybe for some defensive uses, maybe we'll see some Tesla Towers coming out, but I think we will see a lot more Graveyard that got a change from 9 to 10 seconds. Also, the radius from 5 to 4 now.
I think that's actually a beneficial change, going from 5 to 4. Like, it does make, because we usually use it on the tower, right? So you can focus it right on that tower.
Let's see, seems like the players are ready to jump into game number 1. Let's see what they have brought. Let's go into game number 1, Hamas versus Yungela. All right, here we go. We have Hamas in blue in the bottom and Yungela up on top in red.
Yeah, so both players are probably going to play this one. Oh, I was going to say defensive, but out comes that Goblin Barrel straight away. But the minions... Oh, and Yungela drops down the balloon and the minions.
So he's going, seems like he's going air for now, but Inferno Tower to drag the attention away from the balloon, did not get any hit. but Explosion will do some damage along with the minions.
I think if that Inferno Tower had been like 1 square more up, I think that would have been the perfect position for it, because then he wouldn't have been able to get any damage on that tower at all.
And I think he was pretty quick to react to that attack coming in. Nicely done by Hamasu. Did get some damage onto the tower, but throws another barrel.
And the gang of goblins, Goblin Gang, again, like, they're actually really good. They come in, they just deal with whatever was put down, and there's not much you can do as the offensive. This is a very defensive game again, like very much like last week. This is going to be a chip damage game.
It is going to be, may not be the chip damage game, as you see lava drop down onto the other side. May just connect with a lot more air units, but he's not focusing everything onto the right side.
The Bandit actually managed to do decent amount of damage to that top tower for Hemosu. But it looks like that Lava Hound is going to make it to the tower, and the balloon looks like it's going to be following just behind. This could actually be quite dangerous here for Hemosu.
This balloon is going very low, but
oh, it gets a bomb off. It connects. That should take it down to 181, and he does have a hidden card. I'm going to assume that's Rocket there for Yungala.
Or some kind of damaging spell, I believe also. And he just has to wait. He just had to buy a minute. Defensively, he doesn't even have to go in all the way offensive.
There's the Lava Hound again. This time going for the bottom tower, so I think he just wants to shore up this victory.
So he just wants to push in where he has the pressure onto the left lane. So he just wants to push in instead.
Yep, the Bandit again, and there's the Fireball. But oh, he should have dropped that on the tower, surely.
Well, he still has a lot of time, so he can just cycle that and just push it out. And when the overtime hits, I think this is a brilliant strategy coming up from Yungela here.
Yeah, and I don't think Hemosu has enough burst to take that tower whilst defending his own tower. He does only have 181 hit points left.
Well, sometimes offense is the best defense. I think Yungela is just showing us exactly that. But okay, Bandit does do some more damage. Still 500 more to go. Rocket will not take down the tower when the Fireball does take down the tower. And seems like that's going to be win for Yungela. 2 seconds. And that's it. Not enough. Hamasu will lose the very first game. That's a really nice, strong air push we saw from Yungela. Nicely done in game 1.
Yeah, he actually, he is a very, very solid player. And he seems to always know what to choose to just straight out beat his opponent. Like the Lava Hound and the balloon, like the Laloon, it did work. And there just wasn't enough anti-air. And I think the Inferno Tower placement was slightly off there for Hemos.
Yeah, the Lava Loon, even in Clash of Clans, it's one of the biggest threat for my Town Hall. And once you don't have the air defense like that, if you don't have too much... He did have some units, but Princess, you don't really do too much damage onto Lava Hound or even to the balloon. It takes a long time. Only good for taking out the minions. Yeah. And he didn't really have anything else. Inferno Tower went down super quickly all the time. I think that was the biggest problem here.
Yeah, I just think if I was going to be against that, I don't actually know what I would do. I'd probably use Minion Horde myself and hope that he doesn't have Princess to take it out pretty much straight away.
Sometimes it's a good, if you have some Ice Wizard, some slow tools available to delay the attacks, which air is a strong attack, but it's slow. But if you can make that slower by using some Ice Wizard, it actually works pretty well if you have some defensive towers, exactly like Inferno Tower, what you had. Maybe mixing in some slow like Ice Wizard could have been a better deck, just defending against all the air units.
But then he wouldn't have had as much attack as he did. Like using the Bandit on the offensive to just try to keep chipping away on that tower. I think Gang of Goblins is a hard counter to Bandit, and it just didn't help him whatsoever. Like the Bandit did good work, it hit a lot, but it just didn't quite get the tower down.
Yeah, compared to the Miner, Barrel does get 3 units off of the tower, but maybe with a Zap it was perfectly countered, and oftentimes it is the tool to counter perfectly. Seems like the minute is up for both players to change their decks. Now we should be getting into game number 2 very soon. Let's see if Hamasu brought in any changes or Yungela will lead us into a 2-0. Let's go into game 2.
Okay, so here we go again. Set number 2. I almost said round number 2. Set number 2 here, and this one does. Oh, both players put down the Elixir Collectors. This is going to be a long game.
Oh boy, at the same time. Let's see what else they have. Seems like we're going to see some heavy ones, maybe some golems, giants.
Oh,
okay.
Nice lightning there, taking out the Elixir Collector straight away. Didn't actually deal any damage to the King Tower either, so it didn't activate it. That was actually a really well-placed lightning.
And golem dropped down from the from both sides. This is a similar one, of course. Bats dropped already dropped down from Yungela when lightning spell was used. So
oh, and the Night Witch too. This is a proper mirror match.
With the golem, the best push. With the Night Witch is one of the best push. So doing exactly the same, but the thing is, Hamas still has the Elixir Collector available, getting the full value out of it right now.
Yeah, so Hamosu is building up an advantage here with the Elixir Collector being up, but it does look like Yungela does have the perfect defense.
But he has so much more elixirs available. I think he can just delay this and defend. What else does he have in his hand right now? He's not really using anything.
No, what is something wrong? Like, he didn't try to defend that at all. Like, he should have put down something.
Maybe the cycle just did not really come in perfectly for him, and the next one was just blown away with the rocket now.
So I think Hamosu here does have a tempo advantage. He's just not making the most out of it. It seems like he could have at least put something down to slow down that push so he didn't lose the tower. And now he's fighting from behind against Yungela, who very rarely drops a set.
Maybe he didn't have too much ground units because he just does not have too much ground units to actually draw attention from the other side to get the push. I think that was what was really stopping him from putting anything else down, even if he had a lot of elixirs down.
So the golem is connecting, and it does still have a lot of HP here for Hamosu. That could actually just take down the tower. I think it is. Yeah, that's going to take down the tower.
Yeah, the log offensive use from Yungela, it will be, seems like it will be 1. Let's see if he wants to make it up more, because Golem dropped quite close to the Princess Tower on the bottom right now.
Yeah, Hamosu's bottom tower is definitely going to fall here. It is whether Hamosu is going to be able to do a counter push and try to take out that King Tower before Yungela gets it.
The Night Witch is dropped, but I don't think that's going to be enough. The time is up in 6 seconds. Maybe Yungela will just take this one again. It seems very like it. And he does take game number 2 just like that. How do you like the counterplay that came in after? He did not. Maybe he had the rocket from the beginning, but just did not use it until the late phase.
I think it's a smart move not to use the rocket straight away. Like, you don't want to always use the rocket on the push because you're going to put yourself behind. You have nothing to follow through with. So saving it for the last hits on the towers is actually a very, very smart move in these kind of circumstances.
When actually Hamosu used a big tool, big spell, lightning, from the beginning to take the collector down,
that
did not really delayed him from putting all the units down when Yungela just pushed everything along with the golem.
Yeah, it put him in a massive disadvantage, all to take out that elixir collector. Now, he had his own elixir collector. He could have just left it,
well,
and they'd have been on equal terms.
Even when Hamas got the full value, he had lots of time because that golem from behind everything, from the last place you can deploy the unit, it's very slow. There's lots of time to actually think about the defense. But once you're up against so many units on the other side, the bats come in, the Night Witches, and all the goblins. If you have all the units, if you do not have the exact spells to counter it, I think that was the biggest problem. Did Hamosu have something like a log to counter the ground units? I don't think so, right?
No, he didn't. It definitely didn't look like it, because I believe he would have played it 100%. So, will we see him do a bit of a quicker push this time? Because that game, his slow play worked against him. Yungela is very, very good at the slow play. Hamosu, he didn't really make mistakes as much as he just put himself at a huge disadvantage right at the beginning with that lightning.
In terms of how to control the elixirs in the game, how to control the push, if you want to have maximum offense, or how defensive you want to be, I think Yungela just taking this one with experience. He knows when to push in, when to not push in, to collect what he has, collect his tools, and what he's known to be up against. Hamasu is choking at the moment, and this can be the last game as the music change. We are about to get into the possibly the last game of the match. Hamasu has to come back, or it will be the end, and Yungela will take the match with a 3-0. Let's get into game number 3 with the latest deck changes off after a minute. Let's see what they have in game 3.
Alright, correct me if I'm wrong, but if Hamasu loses this, he has pretty much no chance to make
It's
top.
double round robin, so there are still chances, I would say, but it's very low.
I think his fate would be in everyone else's hands if that happened. And he hasn't had much on his own. There's the log this time, and the princess doing some work on the defense, making sure that all those little minions, the bats, the goblins, they don't deal too much damage to the tower.
Alright, Goblin Gang's taken out, but I would say it's working a lot better for Yungela actually, because he dropped down the Infernal Dragon, which does tons of damage to the single unit.
Didn't actually deal that much damage this time. Like, the Electro Wizard comfortably took care of it. Bandit Queen there running into the Ice Golem, which is actually a very, very good trade. Even though he lost the Bandit, just dealing that much damage to the Ice Golem. So the Goblins behind cannot push into the tower. It's actually really good defense.
And it seems like Yungela's throwing the barrel all the way to the end, because he knows that the log is there. He knows that the log will come in. Electro Wizard to stop the damage onto the tower. Did some damage, not too much.
This is incredibly defensive so far. Like, we're 1 minute 30 in, and there has been less. We haven't even seen someone drop into the 1,900 yet. Both players are just playing this incredibly defensive. And I don't know, I think, for me personally, I think this plays more into Yungela's hands. He's a lot better at these slow games. Hamasu does need something to happen here.
Ooh, and seems like Yungela will drop the play, the super playing card. And he's making the push onto the both sides, throwing the barrel onto the right.
Good Inferno Tower placement there to draw away the Mega Knight from the tower. The Mega Knight did get a change in the last patch. He got fixed, which meant that his jump distance is now pretty much set. He used to be able to jump shorter distances than he should have.
Let's see, as Mega Knight did not do too much, but the push onto the right is doing some damage. Good trade, about equal I would say in terms, but Yungela is pushing in onto both sides again. He's doing some chip damage.
Yeah, so this is going to go, I think this is definitely going to go a very long time. Like, nobody seems to be able to make a massive push.
They're defending and pushing what they have after what they have after the defensive use. The Bandit is trying to charge into the top one, but
Goblin Gang there stops the run, and the Inferno Tower again was definitely necessary there to stop that Mega Knight connecting. If that Mega Knight connects with that tower, it's going to go into critical state. It's ready to fall.
Let's see, Barrel's doing some damage to towers every single time, but the defenses come in for both players.
The Barrels are getting 1, maybe 2 hits a time, and at the moment that looks like it should favor Hemos. So that Bandit though, connecting onto that tower, dealing so much damage, puts Yungela's top left tower, it's in danger. It could fall quite easily now.
Yeah, even one charge could basically determine this game, I would say.
There's the Goblins. Is it going to be enough to take out the tower? Yeah, this should be it. I think Hemosu has this. No, just not enough. 222 damage. Does he have enough? Does Hemosu have enough to defend?
He does, and the rocket comes in his hand right after the log, and that will be game. And he will come back in the series with a 1-2 now.
Is it going to be the reverse of Hemosu's last game, where he was 2-1 up and ended up losing 3-2?
I think he caught up with the mechanics. I see that he had basically all the tools to counter the entire depth of Yungela there. And his Bandit making the play, connecting to the towers, as you mentioned, has made the critical play. Even he was He was just having a beautiful cycling there, having all the counters to all the barrel, the ground units. So single log took down most of it every single time, and Yungela was losing his cycle after those logs.
The second time, because game number 2 were very similar decks too.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems that both these players understand that the other player is going to be playing a certain style and are trying to play against that style, but then because they're playing against that style, both players want to play against it, they both end up going back into the same style. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yes, it does. Or somewhat. Not 100%. I didn't catch all that.
Sorry, I can see your eyes like closing as you're falling asleep to that, huh?
No.
I'm sorry, man.
No
I'm
way,
sorry.
I'm not falling asleep. I did fall asleep a couple of times in the classroom back in high school, but not anymore, as they still have 15 more seconds to change their deck. Big question to Yungela. What kind of spells do I need? Do I bring the log here to just take out the ground unit? It seems like Hamas doesn't really focus on the air units at all.
But then the problem is, if he doesn't focus on the air units this time, he's probably going to play them. Like,
but you have to really know the style of the other player. I think that's a big tool.
Yeah, and I think that plays into Hemosu's hand, because most Korean players know Yungela's style. Like, he does a lot of videos, as I've said earlier. There's so much footage out there for everyone to watch of Yungela's play, but he still managed to 2-0 his first day. He's 2-1 up now. He should be able to finish this, but Hamosu might have something in the tank that will just turn it over.
Well, let's see. I think they are ready, and Hamosu is ready to take it back. It is still 2-1. Let's go into game 4.
Okay, so here we are again. Both players are going to wait for that 10 mana, 10 elixir, and I think we're going to see the elixirs go down, the elixir collectors go down. Oh no, Goblin Barrel to start with.
Hamosu just keeping up with the barrels tonight.
Well, it worked in game number 3, but it didn't work in game number 1. So I'm interested to see if he's made any changes from the last game to basically keep Yungela on his feet.
The ground attack last time did not do so well, so Yungela went back to his old air deck here, as Lava Hound is now slowly approaching. There's a bandit again.
Yeah, so the bandit is definitely going to connect, and it should do a oh, went down a bit quicker than I thought it would. I thought it would have got a few more hits off, but Hamosu has nothing to defend this Lava Hound. He's just not putting anything down to try and take it out.
Lava Hound, as a single unit, does not actually do too much damage. Once it spreads into the mini, it does a ton more damage. I think that's exactly when you bring in the princess. But he has the tools.
So there it comes. So yeah, you were right. It is going to come down for that. But I feel like some of that was damage that should not have been taken at all.
He was trying to collect himself as he dealt with a very similar deck in game number 1.
And Yungela actually deals so much damage to that bottom tower. Like, I cannot see Hamosu being able to defend all that time with just 1,000 hit points on that tower.
But he does. He's trying to connect some hits onto the left side instead. So he wants to trade. He wants to be aggressive, but the fireball to take out the entire thing. Because Yungela will be pressuring onto the right. Of course, that's the easier one. More than half hit points down on the Princess Tower already. He still has a balloon, lots of air units available. So Hamosu instead, he wants to just counter-attack. Seems to be not working at the moment though.
Yeah, but if Hamosu puts a lot of pressure onto that left-hand side, it's drawing the units away from his right-hand tower. He's making sure that he gets some damage done at all times. And that is so close to dropping. Like, he just needs Bandit one more time to connect, and I think he will have that tower. And Yungela is pushing his time down with these slow units. Whether they will connect is an issue.
Lava Balloon connecting. Electro Wizard dropped, but not enough. Balloon did connect because it was deployed all the way to the right side, the very right one. It did not get attention from the Infernal Tower at all before that phase.
So the Infernal Dragon dealing quite a lot of damage onto that King Tower. Dropping the Electro Wizard to draw the aggro away from it. Balloon connects as well onto that bottom left-hand tower. Yungela has such a commanding position because Yungela's top right tower is pretty much undamaged.
So Hamas just needs to do massive damage. Bandit actually connected to the tower. Let's see how far this Infernal Dragon goes. The push is coming. And does he have the tools to go against it? Even has to use a rocket though. That seems like he was very rushed because the lava balloon is coming now.
I feel like that Inferno Tower should have moved over a little bit to make sure that he grabs the aggro there.
From the air units coming from the left, but it seems like he's making the push, just not enough with 256.
That rocket would be so useful right now.
He has it in his hands, but I don't think it's going to come in time. Let's see if it does. He's just dropping everything at the moment.
One more mana, one more elixir. It's going to be close.
It's going to be super close. Seems like the rocket will do much damage. The fireball comes for Yungela, but not in time. What a game we had in game number 4. That was, I believe it was 56 hit points left at the very end.
Something like that. Oh my god. That was
sorry
so
for
close.
Spitting on your face, but
no, man. I'm sorry for spitting on yours too. Like,
was incredibly close.
Oh, Yungela looks a bit shaken here. Like, this is looking like Hamosu's last game. Like, he went 2-1. He was 2-1 up, ended up losing 3-2. Yungela was 2-0 up. Looked in a commanding position, and now it's all tied.
It's all tied, and we're back to 0-0, guys. Last one takes everything. It's game 5. Wow, that kind of play. You saw the moment. Hamasu was just shivering his body there as he was just dropping everything, just make sure he has a cycle for his next spell. The rocket came in his hand and he used it right away. Because I believe Fireball actually travels a lot quicker than the rocket.
Yeah.
And he had to drop it at the moment the card came in. Well done by Hamasu there.
Yeah, you could actually see that he was waiting. He had about 4 mana when that rocket ended up in his hand. And you could see, like, before that, he was just touching every card. You could see the movements at the bottom. As soon as that rocket comes in, he's like, all right, I've got to do this as soon as I get that 6 elixir. And as soon as 6 elixir hit, boom, in goes the rocket, takes out the tower, and ties up the series.
Wow. What a series we have. It may just be a reverse sweep, and we saw the emotional face coming out from Yungela after losing. Look at that.
He's still smiling, though. I think he is a very confident person. This might just have shook him off his game a little bit. I think everyone was expecting him to win here.
Well, let's see. Game number 5. This decides everything for this match between Hamasu and Yungela. The winner of this game takes the series. Let's go in and see what some new changes they have brought into Game 5. We are ready. Players are ready. And the last game of the series determined the winner of tonight's first match. Elixir drop down barrel. Hamasu just keeping up with the exact same thing.
And drops the rocket to take out that elixir collector.
Seems like a similar deck from game 4.
Yeah, so both players are relatively equal after that little bit of a skirmish there. Nobody's really ahead too much in elixir. And nobody's really too far behind.
Yungela bringing the log here, I think it's a good tool because Hamasu seems like he's connecting so much with the bandit and the goblin all the time. The log will just single-handedly take care of so many ground units. See all the ground units dropping down from Hamasu's side.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be very ground-heavy again from Hamasu. And right now, Yungela's deck is very hard to even predict. Like, it could have anything in those last 3 slots because we haven't seen anything that could finish a game.
Let's see. Night Witch, the last thing I think he played, along with this, was the Golem, actually, if he has the same units from game 2. Let's see. He's still holding 2 more. Talking about Yungela, of course.
A good pull there, but not enough to keep the Baby Dragon's interest. The Baby Dragon's just like, yeah, I'm just going to hit the tower instead.
Actually, the barrel does somewhat of damage. Actually, a ton of damage, almost close to 1,000 damage.
Yeah, Yungela looks like he was expecting it to do a hell of a lot less damage than it actually ended up doing. This puts Hamasu in a very commanding position at this point. Like, it's 2-2. He has an advantage. His deck isn't revolving around super high-cost units, unlike Yungela's, which looks like he really does need that elixir collector to come down.
Yes, exactly. He wants that down. He wants to have that as long as possible to gain maximum value. And I believe he is holding that golem, which we were talking about But can he make this push into a big one? The barrels drop down onto the right.
Good position in there, trying to bait out the log, trying to dodge it, but didn't quite.
I don't think the rocket actually connected into the golem. Just hit the tower there.
Didn't quite manage to see that. The Electro Wizard trying to slow down this golem so that it doesn't reach the tower. Bandit 2 just joining in the fun, but there comes the log.
And the log is so effective and do tons of damage. The bats drop down to cancel the log, cancel the barrel there.
But Hamosu's still in a little bit of an advantage right now. The two princesses are not doing all too much damage. He needs a little bit more. It's gonna come down once again.
One single log along with the rocket, but seems like those cards is available for YUNGELLA again. Once more, a finishing blow of Game 5. Hamosu also had the rocket, but just not in his hand.
That was insanely close again, like a very similar finish to game number 4. And this time it was YUNGELLA taking it. And he looks relieved that he didn't end up dropping this set.
He had the log, and it was over 543, I believe. So he used the log and the rocket to just take down the tower with just enough damage. And having that cycling, I'm pretty sure Hamosu didn't also have enough elixir for a rocket at the very end. So we don't quite know what actually happened. Maybe we'll see a replay of game number 5. But YUNGELLA takes it. He already has 3 wins in this series, in this tournament. That's a big win for himself, as we have a double round robin system here.
Yeah, YUNGELLA looks like he's going to take at least... I think it's impossible for him to be lower than 2nd right now. If not, then it's going to be very close. But he is in such a commanding position, he should be able to take 1st.
And those timings and the cycling and just having those cards, holding in those cards sometimes is very critical. And Hamosu, because he used all that rocket to take down the elixir collectors, actually cost him big at the very end. It was overall well used, well built. That coming out from YUNGELLA brought him the win at the last moment.
Yeah, so they keep the rocket right until the end to make sure they actually have it in their final hand. Like, they definitely need it within those last few seconds.
Let's see. That was a close series. Game number 4 and also game number 5 went all the way to the end. And that last spells, that's exactly why you need rockets and logs sometimes to just take down some damage. When you have the spells, you can just finish the game just like that. But what a series to start off day number 3 here, as YUNGELLA just seems relieved after that game 5. It's like, whew, that was close.
It looks like he knows that he was very lucky to end up winning that one out. But Hamosu, he looks defeated. I think he knows that he has a very, very big hill to climb if he's going to make it
but
to
compared
the next
to game number 1, I would say he took down his nerves. I'd say he played so much better today. It's still not impossible for him to climb up to that. I think it's very hard to go up to his 1st spot on the group, but I think it's still possible to go all the way into the 2nd place.
Second place, he can make it there. He's going to need to basically dominate his last 2 opponents.
Maybe get a lot more crowns compared to the other opponents. I think he has to look for at least a double every single set to go up into the second place of the group there.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to have a very hard time.
Oh, let's see. I think this is game number 5.
No, this is... It's hard to tell. The beginning is very similar to every other game that we managed to see. Like game 4 and game 5 were very, very similar.
Now let's see. Infernal Tower is being held. Let's see all the rockets being dropped down. Yeah, rockets all being dropped down every single time to take out the elixir collector.
Hamosu's positioning on his barrels was always to make sure that they didn't get logged straight away. He tries to move it. He moved it behind. He moved it to the far side, making sure that the predictive log isn't going to connect.
And I think this is the critical moment, as the log just took down so many ground units, hit the bandit on the right too.
And this is where most of the damage ended up going onto that tower. That golem did a lot of work, but YUNGELLA was quite lucky to manage to put that down, because he didn't manage to keep his elixir collectors up at all.
The princesses are doing tons of damage, but it's very slow. It's AoE. But it was just not enough. There's the log and the rocket for the finish. And that's it.
Close. I think if that bandit had have charged, we might have seen a different result. It would have been
like,
very, very
It seems
close.
like Hamosu did not have a rocket at the very end. The cycling just did not come in, and that's how you win. If you use the collector as a bait to use the rocket out just like that, when you know that your opponent does not have that card in your hand.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
that's basically it, and it's going to be it, and we will be back very soon with the match number 2, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, all the Clash Royale fans around the world. This is Crown Championship Global Series Korea, day number 3, and for a second, we thought we changed, but we are back. We're not the Screencasters, as you can see. But the coffee's kicking in, the energy is kicking in after match number 1. And we have match number 2 between another YouTuber, very popular here, Jun versus Jungang.
Yeah, this should be another explosive game. Like, Jun tends to show off a little bit when he's playing. He seems to just want to be the showman.
And seems like he had a critical mistake in match number 1, dropping that poison onto the King Tower one. Seems like he was a little bit nervous, but seems like we will have just not yet. We'll have a quick video on with Jun and Jungang just talk about the recap of what happened. Also, seems like that video will be kicking in any moment.
Hold on, guys, it's coming.
All right, it's gonna be there.
해모수 선수와의 경기는 굉장히 쉬웠습니다. 생각한 대로 잘 경기가 흘러갔고 딱히 어렵지 않게 이겼다고 생각이 들기 때문에
3대 1로 3포인트 먼저 가져옵니다.
윤겔라님한테 졌는데 제 플레이에 아쉬운 점이 굉장히 많아요. 되게 상성이 굉장히 안 좋았고 저의 실수가 많이 있었던 경기였기 때문에
실수가 나왔죠. 준 선수가 이런 실수를 하는 선수가 아닌데.
그 점을 좀 보완해야 될 것 같습니다. 중앙지역 선수도 굉장히 잘하는 선수고 클래시 아시아 크라운컵에서도 만났던 선수이기 때문에 하지만 제가 중앙지역 선수보다 모든 면이 더 낫다고 생각합니다. 상대방이 예측하지 못하도록 다양한 덱을 많이 준비를 했습니다. 오늘은 반드시 2승 0패로 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 화이팅!
중앙지역 아이디를 쓰고 있는 한승표입니다. 해모수 선수가 쓸 수 있는 덱 가짓수가 그렇게 많지 않은 것 같아서 무덤 덱을 사용하면 전망할 것 같다고 생각이 들어서 무덤 덱을 사용했는데 결과가 좋았던 것 같습니다. 준님은 일단 수비를 효율적으로 잘 하는 것 같고요. 기블린통 덱이나 페카 덱 같은 것도 여러 가지로 다 잘 쓰는 것 같아서 여러 가지 덱을 다 쓸 수 있게 준비를 해서 사용할 예정입니다. 오늘은 반드시 전부 다 이기고 집에 가겠습니다. 화이팅!
Oh yes, both players brought in lots of variety of decks, as Jun said, and also Jungang is knowing what Jun can have against him. He also prepared lots of counter decks, he said.
Yeah, Jun is super confident. He's just like, yeah, I'm just going to walk this day. And both players are having a bit of back and forth. I don't know if you can see this, but they're like joking with each other. Jun is staring down Jungang. Jungang's just giving him a big smile. Just basically trying to get in each other's heads. And I think that's what's actually going to matter a lot here. I think this is going to be more mind games because both these players are incredibly good. And both players are sitting at 1 win and 1 loss each.
That's right. As you can see here, 5,000 current, 6.5, which is quite high. Won against Hamosu in his first game and lost against YUNGELLA, his, I guess, a rival YouTuber. And with a 1-3, he has 1-1, still a long way to climb, has lots of other matches available because this is round robin system. He has 3 points still, but seems. Let's take a look at Jungang here. About the same, not as quite as high compared to Jun with the highest trophy, but also holding both full series though. 2-3, 3-2, maybe another set of full series coming for Jungang tonight.
Yeah, Jungang looks like he is not the favorite to go through, but he's an incredibly strong player and he's definitely capable of taking games off of both Jun and YUNGELLA, who most people who watch Korean Clash would have expected to come first and second in this group.
Yeah, Jungang was using lots of Hog Riders and Graveyards. Let's see the ban card. Ooh, Barrel ban from Jun and Expo ban. Quite interesting.
Yeah, that's a really weird thing to ban. I don't know if I don't know. Did Jungang expect Jun to play Expo a lot?
Well, let's see. Well, I remember June actually banning Expo in one of the match, but not actually playing anyone. Maybe just one single game. We didn't really focus on Expo too much. I wonder what that is all about. But this barrel ban and Expo ban means we will have lots of miners in this set. And both players did use some miners and also graveyard. Let's see, they will now have 3 minutes to build their decks.
Well, this time we do get to see Hog Rider. I'm not even going to pretend that that's not a possibility. It is 100% confirmed that Hog Rider will make at least one appearance in this set.
Well, let's see. Lots of Hogs. Seems like we will have lots of charging units also. We'll see June use lots of variety in his defense. He was very effective, as Jungang mentioned. How he defended, he was slow, using minimum use of units to have the maximum defense and doing barely any damage onto his own tower.
Yeah, and his offense is equally as good. I mean, Jungang was like, oh, his defense is incredible, but his offense was really, really good too. Although he made a few mistakes last time with the poison, I think Jungang here will be able to at least play around with June a lot, and June's offense is going to be tested here because Jungang is an incredibly strong defensive player, as we saw last time.
Well, June actually used Barrel a lot himself as he banned it this time. Seems like he wants to have something else bringing in, maybe some miners, maybe some strong heavy units, as I don't think he has yet to use the Golem for himself, but I watched lots of his YouTube clips, and it seems like he likes the light decks a lot more than the heavy ones. Well, let's see if he chooses to do otherwise tonight, because Jungang, of course, with a lot less information available on the web, it's quite hard to counter what his playstyle is only from watching him play for one day.
Yeah, so Jungang, I think they've played each other before in a previous tournament. Jungang has actually done quite a lot of professional tournaments. He's been around the scene for a while, so I'm pretty sure June knows who he is. It's not Hamas, who is a complete dark horse, but June was just like, yeah, that was easy. Like, Hamas was so easy to beat. Like,
Jungang actually won lots of the college tournament that happened a while ago in Korea, and he's still appearing in all the tournaments, but seems like he has lots of decks to actually counter. Depending on the patch he did, seemed like he was shifting in and out with graveyard, some air attacks. Seems like the graveyard will still be the key to his victory tonight. But after the patch, who knows, maybe he will just not use it at all. Maybe we just have to mention, by the way, guys, Sparky may make another appearance here, as the damage nerf kicked in, but the hit speed got a massive boost from 5 seconds to entire 4 second flat.
I don't think we're going to see a Sparky. I think June here is going to be super serious, and I don't think he's going to throw up a Sparky. Jungang throwing up Sparky would be incredibly
Are you saying that Sparky decks are not as serious? Both players are ready after the 3 minutes, and let's go into game number 1 ASAP and see what kind of decks they have brought into the series. It will be the very first game between June and Jungang, and let's see what they have brought for their very first game of day 3. Alright, let's go. June in blue at the bottom, and Jungang on top in red.
So, down comes the Ice Golem, and down comes the Lava Hound. Incredibly interesting opening there from June.
Seems like June actually wants to focus a little more into the air units here.
It's a very, very expensive opener, and it does put him a little bit behind, especially with this Ice Wizard dropping down. That's going to slow down that Lava Hound, probably not going to reach the tower.
Here comes his signature card, the Graveyard, but minions will do just that. It also used the Zap, but not enough.
So this looks really bad for June. That tower is gone.
My goodness!
There was just nothing there. Like, June just lost that tower with next to nothing. But that balloon is going to connect at least once, probably 2 or 3 times here.
Not even twice. The Infernal Dragon did so much damage. The explosion would connect, but compared to a whole tower, That's not enough as your push. If you want to make that a trade, I would not say that's a trade at all.
That was not a good trade for June at all. And I don't even know, like, relying completely on the minions there that got zapped. Like, I'm not sure how they dropped so quickly. I was expecting them to live a little bit longer.
I think he used the poison right on top and just took everything out as graveyard radius got decreased to 4 from 5. And poison can actually help you push so much more. Here comes another one.
That graveyard is incredibly good
And
again. There's the poison.
Once again, the minion will go down, and the rest, the skeletons are pushing. The King Tower is actually defending this very well, but the tons of damage are again.
June has such a strong push here with the Mega Minion, the Lava Hound, and the Balloon. That's definitely going to be that tower down. This is looking bad for the King Tower too.
Maybe a lot more. Even the Lava Hound is still pushing. The Ice Wizard is slowing them down. Just got all the units down right before it connected to the King Tower.
That's actually... I think June has come back into this. Like, it was looking very, very... Ooh. Mega Knight down.
Okay, great. Just hold the Mega Knight there for a second, but the poison will take down. But the air units are kicking in.
Yeah, with that Inferno Dragon onto the Lava Hound, that's still going to mean that that balloon should connect. Especially when the little lava pups distract the Inferno Dragon.
Just one, and the explosion would do some more, but it's about even, I would say. And also about even in elixirs. Let's see how June wants to handle this, seems like.
So we're getting down into the overtime period here. Next tower wins it, and I think it is looking like June should be able to take it with that Lava Hound and Balloon again. And it does look like that Balloon is going to connect at least once. I couldn't see. There was too much going on there if it connected at all. I think it missed.
I think it got some damage on it because it had a lot more than 1,000. Here comes the graveyard, but the tombstone is already there to take the aggro out. Let's see how much damage it does, along with the poison spell on it.
Yeah, the graveyard change of making it a little bit less random when the skeletons spawn and decreasing the range, decreasing the radius has definitely helped it out a lot.
But the lava doing tons of damage, along with the fireball, just 126 left. So much closer.
It's going to be so hard for Jungang to finish this before that fireball ends back up into June's hand. He's cycling as quickly as he can, but that tower does look like it's vulnerable here.
Seems like Jungang has seen the fireball coming out, says good game, and that's GG. First game going to June with the fireball, with the lava loons, did tons of damage. Also his defense was pretty neat. Just the Mega Minion there, just doing all the work along with the King Tower.
His defense wasn't particularly great though at the very beginning. He probably should not have lost that tower. He lost it far, far too easily. However, going after that, he kept his cool. He was like, I'm just going to put everything exactly where it needs to go. I'm going to take this set, no problem.
Lots of air units definitely worked in favor of June, but the very first attack, he was surprised from the graveyard, and also the poison spell just kicking in, just took out the entire tower in, I believe, like first 20 seconds of the attack.
Yeah, it was such a powerful push.
This was a great comeback for June.
Yeah, he definitely dug his heels in and was not going to lose. After that, I think that woke him up a little bit. Maybe he was a little bit sleepy. It's his first game of the day. Maybe he woke up at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like,
he is a gamer after all.
Yeah. He runs a YouTube channel. He doesn't keep a 9 to 5. Like, he's just like, yeah, I'll wake up.
9 to 5, 40 hours a week? No, I don't think so. I think he plays a lot more than 40 hours a week. And if you have all those, it was a great tool to use once you had Graveyard and the poison on top. You could have all the skeletons actually connecting to the Princess Tower, but once after the King Tower was activated, after the single tower was gone, that extra defense from the King really helped him so much to defend in terms of June here.
Yeah, the Graveyard after the King Tower is activated is not that strong because it goes too quick. It dies too quickly.
And it seems like the minute is already up. They had some time to change for game number 2. And June so far leading the series with 1-0. Let's go into game number 2 and see who takes this one to further his lead, or Jungang taking the series back 1-1. Here we go.
Once again, June is in the blue, Jungang is in the red on the top. They're waiting for the 10 mana. Are we going to see a double elixir again?
Let's see. Just waiting for... I think they're both just waiting at the moment just to counter what someone else has. Guys, we are live and there's the first unit. You're not frozen.
I thought there was an issue there for a second. Like
No
nothing
issue.
goes down for 20 seconds.
Baby Dragon drops down.
Graveyard again from Jungang.
Perfect poison spell used right there, doing all the damage onto the Electro Wizard and the tower.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as strong as it was last time. I think that was because June only tried to defend with the minions. The Electro Wizard here was definitely a much better choice to fight against that Graveyard spell.
And just dropping some goblins for the cycle, just knowing, just having some information on your opponent, what they have, what they're going to do later on.
Here comes Pekka. Pekka is such an interesting choice here because he hasn't got the Elixir Collector, which allows him to throw out the Pekka a lot. So he's going to be... I'm not going to say behind in Elixir, but he's going to have to really eke out value in his trades.
And also a Graveyard from June. He wants to make this push into a stronger one. Both players having the poison.
Poison Graveyard, Pekka, like...
This one's doing so much more because Pekka has the aggro out from both Princess Towers.
Yeah, so the Pekka there just tanked for the Graveyard spell, but I guess June was expecting the Graveyard to do a lot more damage. Like, it only ended up doing, what, 800 damage? I think he was expecting at least 1,000 there. Like
at least a single
hit.
hit from Pekka to connect into the tower, but this Tombstone's actually drawing a good attention away from all the ground units coming out from June. His idea here is to have all the Ice Golem and Pekka just tank the front and do some massive damage with the rain with the Electro Wizard and archers here.
Down comes the poison again, and down comes another Graveyard spell and another poison. Like, the poisons are going everywhere. I think Hemosu was correct saying that we should be banning poison.
Also got the Pekka to slower his attack because he was drew to the backside with the Graveyard. Now here comes the Baby Dragon. Some damage, but this push seems like a massive one coming out from June.
Yeah, the Princess Tower hitting onto the Pekka whilst being hit by absolutely everything else. It's not good for Jungang here.
Nice tornado use. Is it going to be enough? The 52 left.
And the Ice Golem's going to connect. 10 seconds left. This is really, really difficult for Jungang. I think it's over.
And I also believe it's over. And June is just going to take game number 2. Nice offense there. June had enough units to actually destroy the tower, but even using the jab right after the Tombstone, taking care of all the skeletons like that, because one hit and delaying that much time on from Pekka may actually could have made some difference. I don't think it mattered after all, but making the perfect push, just not letting his guard down for the until the last moment. Yeah. What a good play coming out from June there.
Yeah, June dominated that game then, start to finish. Like there was very rarely Jungang had a strong offense. Like the Poison Graveyard, Pekka, Ice Golem, Kitchen Fridge, the Sink, basically throwing everything forward, just overwhelmed Jungang. He couldn't quite defend as well as possible.
Seems like June is just having his day, as the fans also having all this, what we call in Korea, cheerfuls. The papers
signs
that they have in their fans, that's what they call cheerful. It's very cheerful, you know. And it says, June, please go to London. So they're expecting June to win the entire thing, as he is a very popular YouTuber in Korea, having all the young kids, the fans here at the venue. And it seems like June's having his day so far. And game number 1 was close. Game number 2, just domination.
I cannot, like, I've been to London quite a lot. Like, I live in Birmingham. I just can't see June performing well in London. London is a big, scary city. Like, as someone who comes from a very small, like a smaller area, London scares the hell out of me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like going down to London because it's a big, scary
Hey,
place.
I would love to go there with Clash Royale, though.
Oh,
I would
yeah, who
never get
wouldn't?
scared.
Who wouldn't? I'd love to go with Clash Royale, but like June in London, that's a recipe for disaster.
I know you're making the joke here, and it does connect. But we do have a better June on the stage, and the minute is up for their changes. Let's see. Jungwon needs to make some critical changes if he wants to come back in the series. It is 2-0. June is leading, and let's go jump into game number 3. Here we go. Game 3 can be the last one, as June is just having his momentum right now.
Yeah, he has to keep it up. I don't think he's going to lose it, though, at all. Like, keeping up the momentum.
There's a
June
Simon
really
curse,
easy.
guys.
Oh, dear. Sorry, June. It's going to be Jungwon 3-2 here. Let's just mark it down on my roster.
No, guys, we're not having a frozen screen, as you can see the elixirs. They're just waiting for the very first move.
We're going to have 3 minutes of nothingness here. I can't see anyone breaking this deadlock.
Well, if it goes to tie, I would say it looks a lot better for June, I would say.
This is like the most difficult match of Clash Royale I've ever seen to try and talk about. Like, what can we talk about for the first minute of the game? Nothing is going on here.
You know, this is fair because both of the players are level 9 here. As I think this is a fair match right now. We do not know any cards that they have in their hands right now, but this is intense. This is the most intense game I've ever seen. Like, nothing is dropping. Nothing for a minute and 20 seconds now.
The king is just sitting there, like, looking around, like, isn't something supposed... Have we started here yet? Like,
They're moving, right? I can see their faces kind of moving. Oh, yeah. No tap.
I think there's a glitch in the Matrix here or something, because, like, both of these should be doing something, and they've both crashed.
This is intense, guys.
Maybe if you look in their eyes, there's a blue screen of death.
No more blue screen. No blue screen. No crashes of OS, please. And this is live, as it says on top right in the red. And the time's ticking down to a minute. Maybe they want to have everything. Oh, Golem
June makes the first step there with the Golem.
And the Dream Musketeer drop down from Jungwon. Here we go. Only have a minute though, so he needs to make this one push, a strong push to decide the game here.
This is going to be the most intense 1 minute of Clash Royale action I think I've ever
down
seen.
to take the aggro. There's the Mega Knight taking down all the Musketeers.
Dark Prince, though, connecting with that Golem, should be able to stop that push, at least slow it down, but the Golem is breaking through. It's going to connect on the tower, with the Night Witch as well doing some damage too.
Miner did not do too much damage. Golem doing so much more on the other side. Another Golem dropped down. June wants to take this in 24 seconds.
I think he's going to be able to do, you know, those mini golems, his baby golems, do so much work. Minions on the bottom for Jungwon. Connect, but aren't doing too much.
Jungwon split all the resources onto both sides when June basically got everything onto the left. The double golems worked in favor, and that's going to be game. Guys, this is a brilliant strategy. And he takes it with 3-0. That's the end of series.
I feel like Jungwon definitely needed to break that deadlock a lot earlier. His deck was not built for that kind of thing. June just throwing everything onto the left-hand lane and trusting his Princess Tower to defend. Insane strategy there from him.
I would say he just, in terms of resource distribution, elixir distribution, June just had the upper hand, and having another golem, after having that cycle, he just had all the tools. After 2 golems, it's even if you have something like Inferno Tower, Inferno Dragon, it's so hard to defend against the double golems pushing in, just one after the other. And Jungwon was trying to push in from the other side, did not do too much damage. Maybe he was expecting something else to happen, but if you distribute all your elixirs onto the other side, you can't really defend double golems coming right at your face.
I feel like if the Princess split had been 2 on the Golem side and 1 on the empty side, I think Jungwon would have been able to hold a little bit better.
Well, let's see. That was a very, very intense first 2 minutes of the last game. Maybe we'll see a replay and just skip through all that and watch the entire minute of the last one. But that's it. 3-0. June takes it. Seems like he's off to a very good start of the day. He will also connect with match number 3 right after the commercials, but we will see a replay very soon. I wonder I want to watch the third game as a replay.
The third game was just so you could talk about absolutely nothing
minute.
for the first 2 minutes of the game. That was a very action-packed last minute of the game. I don't think I've seen a game quite like that.
It was very different for sure, but I think he had a pretty good strategy, bringing some lava loons, having the graveyard to actually counter the graveyard, and also using the golem, bringing 3 different decks today. And we saw from lots of Korean players, when they win a single game, they tend to keep the exact same or very similar. So just to see if they see the opponent, if they have the answer against it or not. But June, today, he did not fool around at all. He brought everything tonight.
I think losing to Jungela last week has definitely ignited the fire under June. He's like, I lost the game. I'm going to just go out and I'm just going to finish these games as quickly as possible.
Oh, this is the third game. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Let's see what they have. He has June has a Zap as his next card, so you can have a pretty good spell to defend, actually.
Like, I still think that if the 3 Musketeers had gone 2-1 instead of 1-2, would have been a much better split for Jungang.
Maybe if he... But once you put every Musketeer onto one lane, oftentimes a single spell takes basically everything down.
Yeah, but here we see the 2 Musketeers go down onto the right-hand side.
I think he wanted to push because he had the miner onto the other side. But June...
It just didn't do as much as it should. The Mega Knight definitely saved the bacon there.
So much effective on its defense. Miner did some damage, but June didn't even care too much. And connecting into the goblins too.
Yeah, Mega Knight is such a good card in this kind of situation where things are going to be grouped up because they haven't had time to separate from each other.
See, June even has the Elixir Collector. He doesn't even use it because he needs to push this one to the maximum right now. So you notice how he doesn't focus anything onto the right, just everything into the left.
Yeah,
well
he just
done.
let the Princess Tower and the Mega Knight do so much work on the defense there. And just put everything else on the other side and just go for it, knock yourself out, take out the tower. That's what I want you to do.
Yeah, sometimes if you see a golem just rushing in, you do need to be prepared, because once you have the golem, because you need to buy that time when he just slowly crawls in, all the backup units will be there by the time he crossed the bridge. So we didn't really have Junggang didn't really have that. So well, that was it.
Yeah, it was a very interesting game.
And that's it for match number 2. We will be back with match number 3 coming up very soon after this commercial break. Welcome to Crown Championship Global Series Korea, and we have match number 3 between Haemasu and June. June, after match number 2, had some break, had some time, but a lot more pressure for Haemasu, I would say, because in this tournament, in this double round robin format, he is down 0-3 already in his second day for him.
Yeah, if he loses this, it will actually mean it is impossible for him to finish top 2 because both Jungelä and June will have 3 wins and the most he can have is 2. So he really needs to win this to stay alive in this tournament.
Yeah, if he takes this one, of course, he still have some chances to go up to the second place spot. I think that basically means that Jungelä has to defeat everyone else and Haemasu has to win all the matches and everyone has to lose. Other than that, we need some crazy chances happening for Haemasu, but seems very unlikely as he already dropped 3 matches. And June seems like from match number 2, as you guys probably just saw, he's having his day. But let's take a look at the players right before the match.
해모수 선수와의 경기는 굉장히 쉬웠습니다. 딱히 어렵지 않게 이겼다고 생각이 들기 때문에
경기에서도 많은 걸 분석했습니다. 저의 모자란 점과 선수분들의 잘하는 점, 그리고 다음에 어떤 카드를 배내야 되는지까지 다 분석이 됐습니다.
해모수 선수는 덱폭이 생각보다 조금 좁은 걸로 알고 있고 다양한 덱을 여러분들에게 좀 보여드리고 싶은 것도 있고 역시나 제가 이길 것 같습니다.
오늘 경기를 한번 되새김하면서 스펠을 좀 더 연습을 하고 독을 좀 더 견제를 해야 될 것 같습니다. 준님, 그때의 소력을 하겠습니다. 긴장하셔야 될 것 같습니다.
지금까지는 연습 게임이었고 이제부터 진짜 게임 플레이하는 거 보여드리겠습니다.
Big words coming out from the big man. It's time for the real skills. The practice is over.
Yeah, he is, to be fair, he took no prisoner in his last game. And the last time these two met, June went 3-1 and did make it look incredibly easy.
And maybe we'll see that once more as June, all he had to do was change seat from blue to red.
Oh, he changed his shirt too. He's changed from white to black.
That takes time.
Yeah.
And that takes time, and we do have to remind you guys, if you did not watch match number 2, game number 3, go rewatch, and you can fast forward the first 2 minutes, and because not much have happened in that game.
Nothing happened in the first 2 minutes of that game.
So, but we'll take a look once again, as you can see the updated result now, 1-3 and 2-3s, but everything in the gray, as he lost all 3 already.
Yeah, he doesn't play terribly, but unfortunately his opponent always has that little bit extra to push them over the edge and win. And for Haemasu, that's it. That's it. He cannot drop any more games in this set. He needs to win a lot.
And Haemasu was using lots of barrels tonight, and even using some knight and some... Not knight. There was a knight ban actually on the first day. Some P.E.K.K.A. I want to see what the bans are for this match. Of course, June having 2-1 right now, as you can see. 2 wins. 1 win against Haemasu and 1 win against Jungelä.
Yeah, his record right now is 3-1, 1-3, 3-0. So even if it does get into a tiebreak situation, he is in a very good spot with his crowns.
And they basically watched one of the matches already. Knight ban once again from Haemasu against June only. Seems like it's a sniped ban, which June actually did not use any.
No, he hasn't used
today.
He didn't use any last.
He did use a couple of times, but not too many.
Yeah, it's interesting that Haemasu again has gone with this, the knight. And I just can't see why he would ban
June did use knight a couple of times against Jungelä, his first day, last match.
Which didn't end very well for June. So, like, I think the ban here is not a good choice. I think he should have banned something else.
And a barrel ban after watching all those barrels just flying out from Haemasu, which he actually did bring the momentum to his side with a 2-2, but lost with an epic spell at the very end against Jungelä in match number 1 tonight. So, with that barrel removed, he has to bring something else, and June also mentioned that Haemasu does not have too many decks available for himself.
Yeah,
and I think that's the biggest problem for himself right now.
Yeah, his play is very, very narrow. Like, we've seen every game he's had to use the Goblin Barrel. And even now, we can see on his phone that he still
June is
has
ready
the Goblin
to
Barrel.
jump in, man.
Yeah, like,
He's not even changing his deck.
that's probably because the
He's just waiting for the room to appear.
Yeah, the ban hasn't affected anything for him, but removing the barrel has basically crippled all of Hamassu's decks.
Still 2 minutes left. Like, you can see, I think the best idea, if you do not have the best idea what to ban, is actually to watch the first set of matches and see what they have
In every
and just
deck.
make them change their decks and try to just fiddle with their head, the brain a little bit, which June exactly did with the barrel, but not for Hamassu at all. As you can see, June not changing his deck at all. Seems like Knight was not even in any of his deck right now.
Yeah, I said this the first game he did it. I don't see why he banned it out. And Hamassu having the Goblin Barrel banned against him, from what we've seen so far, that has made him change every single one of his decks. So he's going to have nothing comfortable, I think, in this game. I think June definitely metagamed him here.
Well, let's see. Someone looks very busy and someone does not look so busy. And it's very easy to tell from the screen that you guys are watching at the moment here, as June is just...
Yeah, I think someone's telling June to actually do something. Like, he's just sitting there, like, chilling out. He's like, yeah, I'm ready. Can we go? And then Hamassu is like, oh my god, the barrels have been banned. Change everything.
So let's see. Knight ban, I don't quite also follow, but after watching what he has played in day number 1, maybe it's a good card that he should ban against what he has. Maybe it's a good counter to what he has. Well, let's see. I think there are a lot of other units that are also available. It seems like the 3 minutes up, and the game is ready. Let's go into game number 1 between Hamassu and June to start the series off. All right, we have Hamassu in blue on the bottom, June in red on top.
Are we going to see another 2-minute standoff here?
Well, let's just wait. Elixir collector is dropped, and
Straight away, the rocket comes out to just own it.
good job. Did
Yeah.
not activate the King Tower this time, as he made that crucial mistake with the poison spell last time.
Yeah, Hamassu is a couple of Elixir ahead due to these trades. Like, the bats didn't really do anything. They didn't accomplish anything. So it puts him a little bit ahead. A mortar turret. June has been watching my replays. June has been watching me play my mortar turret deck and has decided that he needs to try it himself.
Oh, but the minion horde, this is exactly what I was talking about. When you have a giant one pushing, the minion horde actually does tons of damage to those ground units.
Yeah, so do the bats, actually. Like, the bats seem like they won't do much, but bats can take things at least 10 times their size. Miner coming down on that bottom right-hand tower for June. Like, June, he looks
And also
comfortable.
2 bats on it. It's doing extra damage. So much damage, actually.
Yeah, 1,700 damage onto that tower, taking it down almost 3/4. Incredible. Like, June just has his number again.
Jun does not just waste his attack, does not just throw the bats onto the other side. He actually uses every single tool to the maximum, bringing that miner. Now another P.E.K.K.A. dropped. I believe
Valkyrie
he has
coming out.
some air units available.
Yeah, the mortar turret again. It
we
just
go.
seems to slow down the P.E.K.K.A.
Nice fireball to counter all that though.
But the problem is he doesn't have much in the way of follow-up with
Nice
that,
use of
except for the
bandit to
bandit.
take out the miner. P.E.K.K.A. actually landed a single hit, I believe.
He's still going. P.E.K.K.A. is dealing damage to that tower.
Now the minion.
And now we're about
taken.
even.
We are about even. Maybe it was just the charge from the bandit. He was a little bit away. Now has to use the rocket. Take down the elixir collector on the other side.
Mega Knight being dropped here. Mega Knight is a very good defensive card. Also an incredible offensive card. So overall, it's just an incredible card.
June is right now just using the mortal to just take the attention away from all the ground units.
He needs to take the attention away from his Princess Tower, which is exactly what that mortar turret is
Perfect
accomplishing here.
fireball at the minion horde plus the damage onto the tower also.
This is not looking good for June at all.
Just
Bandit
jumping
connects
in
again,
and out.
knocks down that tower. 14 seconds remaining.
Exactly. I don't think that's going to be enough. More attacks coming in from Hamasu with the Knight just jumping around. Seems like Hamasu will take game number 1 just like that.
And it's over.
Good game.
I was not expecting that at all. Hamasu showing that he is still in this competition. I was expecting June to kind of walk this game again.
All right. Now things are getting excited as Hamasu had the major comeback in the series against June. And this is a great way of just showing your skills with the fireball, knowing that the minion horde first one was a bit of a problem to deal with, just having that fireball to counter the minion horde every single time, making your P.E.K.K.A push to the maximum. And that's exactly what he did and brought a win for himself after taking that tower down. Nicely done, nice predictions and skills mechanically to have that against.
Commentator's curse?
Well,
he was saying that June should have walked it?
I wouldn't go that far, but
not yet.
Not yet, as the fireball was a great tool for Hamasu right there. As minor rocket did some damage, but all the time, and we have, not all the time, I think most of the time in Korea especially, when we have a rocket versus the elixir collector duel, elixir collector always wins because the rocket actually has to be used right after, cannot do the damage instead, or when they need to clear the minions or clear all the units using the rocket, has to use it to take out the tower, take out the elixir collector.
They need to spread, when you use a rocket against an elixir collector like that, you need to spread the damage out just that little bit more. It needs to at least do damage to a tower. If it hits a minion, even better.
Let's see, I'm pretty sure Hamasu, after even a minute, maybe he will just continue to have the same deck, but we are ready to jump into game number 2. Let's see who brings the win of game number 2. June is also ready.
Alright, so here we go again. Hamasu in the blue, taking the first set. June in the red, dropping the first set, which came as a bit of a surprise to us here. I was really expecting June to come out from the momentum of his first game today to walk over Hamasu, and Hamasu's like, no.
Hamasu had a very good counter of dealing with all the ground units that June had. Mega Knight doing tons of damage. And I think the timing was very good also.
Now, June here has a very, very elixir-light deck. So far, we've seen archers, we've seen goblins, now an electro wizard. He's playing a very, very low elixir cost.
All the air units being dropped down by Hamasu. The poison, the zap comes in. Seems like it will be enough before it connects to the tower.
That last bomb is going to take out both those archers and deal damage to the tower, putting June slightly at a disadvantage, especially with these goblin, the goblin gang here connecting onto the tower. And Hamasu again, he's looking good in this game.
Let's see, ice and graveyard dropping in to tank the damage, but the lava hound is slowly making his approach.
Yeah, but the lava hound is just going to walk straight past these minions. It was kind of perfect timing there by June to drop the skeletons there, the potion there, to just after the lava hound goes down, so that there's no elixir there to defend.
The lava loon is trying to connect, but the poison and the electro wizard is doing so much damage.
The stutter step of a balloon is not that effective, especially the wizard there just dealing so much.
Yeah, Electro Wizard, even after a small nerf to it, he's still pretty strong, as you can see. When you're trying to delay all the units, here comes another graveyard from June. Let's see how many connects to the tower.
Quite a few here. Had to use a zap, which isn't very effective against the graveyard at all.
Seems like he doesn't even care. He wants to make this big push with the lava, with the Mega Minion.
But again, the Electro Wizard dropping down, slowing the push from Hamasu, but Lava Hound is connecting, is about to drop. Those Lava Pups should be able to do a little bit more damage to that tower.
And actually uses the balloon onto the other side. Now he wants to draw the attention. He wants to go for a longer game, it says.
I think that's a very risky thing to do at this point, especially with the poison going down on that tower. That should take it out. The archers should connect at least once. There you go, the tower goes down. Are we about to see one of the biggest upsets so far?
I don't think so, as we have time ticking out, and June will take game number 2 with a great defense. Just like that. I feel like Hamasu had all the right pushes, but June just made the perfect defense with the poison spell. Electro Wizard was all he needed there.
Yeah, Hamasu split again between the two lanes, and I think that cost him. There was only about 600 on that one tower. He should have pretty much focused that when you only have 200 on your own tower. And he could have tied up the game, and I think he was in a better position that if it came to overtime, he'd have won.
Let's see, with those Lava Hounds, did make the push, but he seemed like he was not really having a perfect timing along with that Lava Hound to do maximum push. Electro Wizard came in as a big tool for June all the time. Even the poison spell dropped. The Goblin Gang, when it was trying to just go through, but that poison spell right in front of their faces just melted down, did not really do too much. Maybe he needed to focus everything into the air, I don't know, I'm not quite sure, but did not work perfectly against all the great defenses what June had.
So it looks like we have a very similar situation to the first day these two met, when it ended up 3-1 to June. Right now, it's 1 apiece. I don't know, what would you change to the decks? What would you try to bring out in the next match? Maybe another mortar deck?
For June, I think you can actually keep the same. He brought so many different decks tonight, as he said it during the interview before the match. I think he just has a lot of choices. Even he can just keep his graveyard from his match number 2. I think that's a good one for sure.
Yeah, the graveyard did some work, definitely for June this time. So maybe keeping the graveyard, running with the Mega Minion again. I think that would be another good choice, but I think I would change the Lava Loon. Like,
let's see, we're jumping into game 3. As we have 1-1 tied between Hamasu and June.
So as we can see, June currently has 6 win points, whereas Hamasu only has, well, he has 0. Down comes a bandit for Hamasu, instantly kind of interrupted there by the goblins.
You do need to interrupt something before the bandit gets the charge onto the tower, because it just has to drop a small unit or low-cost units to just harass the charges from going in.
So June is bringing a P.E.K.K.A. and a Golem here. Interesting to see what he will put behind this that will actually deal the damage. Graveyard, perfect choice here.
Perfect tank from side, but here comes the Mega Knight.
Mega Knight is such a good defensive
still
tool here.
Did so much damage to the tower, it's insane. The poison spell doing some damage, not enough to take out all the units.
About 1,300 damage there against that tower. Incredible damage. And the Mega Knight is such a good defensive tool in that situation. And again, he's dealing damage to this tower. The bandit connects on the Electro Wizard.
Maybe a lot more than what June got, actually. This Mega Minion's doing too much.
Yeah, Mega Minion got 4 hits on that tower then. Mega Minion definitely shouldn't be getting that many hits on a tower. But June just didn't try to defend it at all. He's like, the princess has it.
It seems like he wanted to push his next attack and save his summer elixirs. And
those skeletons take out the elixir collector. Sorry, tongue twister. And then deals some damage onto the tower. It was a good attack.
But this one's a crazy offensive attack coming out from Hamasu. P.E.K.K.A. now onto the tower. No defense coming in. What does he have to defend against this one? Has to drop down another P.E.K.K.A.
June is in trouble here.
Tons of damage to the King Tower now.
And also the other Princess Tower is actually taking a fair bit of damage here.
Bandit got a charge onto it. Even the Mega Minion's doing tons of damage now. Oh my.
It kind of all just went south there in like half a second for June. Perfect fireball. In comes the Mega Knight again. Graveyard comes down from June, and the poison trying to take down this tower in the next 20 seconds. If he doesn't do it, Hamasu is going to take the lead in this set.
Ooh, the P.E.K.K.A is coming, it's close, but the Mega Knight drops down, says no way. 10 seconds left.
June knows it's over
up already, and he knows that this game is over. Another graveyard is not going to finish. There's a fireball, and the game will be going to Hamasu. He will take the series back to himself with a 2-1.
Mega Knight there did so much work for Hamasu. He did so much work in the first game for Hamasu. Does so much work now. I think he has to keep Mega Knight in his deck.
I think the key here for Hamasu in game number 3 was the Mega Minion. It did quite a lot of work when he was taking out all the graveyard skeletons, and also a great pushing tool. Did major damage to the tower. Usually, Mega Minion does not do too much damage onto any towers, but in this game, did so much work.
P.E.K.K.A too. P.E.K.K.A standing at the front, tanking everything for everything else, and there was just nothing June could do, seemingly. Like, he just didn't have any tools to be able to stop that push. What was it? Mega Knight plus P.E.K.K.A?
Mega Knight plus P.E.K.K.A
That's
push
a lot of hit points to try and
into
burn
the King
through.
Tower. Did not actually get the King Tower, but one single tower was enough. And Hamasu just bought enough time. And June, because he basically used all his elixir for his own push with P.E.K.K.A, with some range from behind, and also graveyard along with the poison spell. Now that's a lot of elixirs to drop down, and if you cannot really connect an entire tower, even if you drop all that down, I think you will lose the next push because you just do not have enough resources to defend, you know?
Yeah, he lost way too much elixir in his push that didn't really accomplish much. Like, if you put that much elixir, you have to push hard, you have to deal at least probably 800 damage to a tower at that point when you're spending nearly 10 elixir on a push. Ideally, you want to take it down, but 800 is probably where you're about even in elixir.
That's where Mega Knight came in so strong for Hamasu. And the minute is up. June, what does he have right now in his hands to take the series back to himself? It is 2-1 in favor of Hamasu, but we are ready to go into Game 4. Let's see it.
So, if Hamasu wins this, he's still in for a chance to come at least second. Yeah, he survives another day.
Another day. As both dropping down the collector.
Almost at the same time again.
Maybe 2 minutes of just collectors, nothing else. Just.
I mean, who wins in a collector versus collector fight?
Well, you need to use at least some spells if you want that cycling done. But the bats, ooh, nice zap to actually get everything down at once.
They're just kind
Has
of
to feel
toying
good.
with each other right now. Like,
just checking some spells on the other side. There's a Mega Minion again for Hamasu. That's been working super well in Game 3.
Does he have the Mega Knight though? That is definitely one of the big questions. The Bandit comes down, connects onto the P.E.K.K.A. It almost, that was
it seemed like it was going to, yeah, it seemed like it was actually going to the tower, but not enough.
P.E.K.K.A versus P.E.K.K.A here with a fireball. P.E.K.K.A wins, obviously. P.E.K.K.A beats P.E.K.K.A 100% of the time.
And the Mega Minion beats the Mega Minion. Nicely done. They're just cycling through. Seems
Dropping
like
down these elixir collectors again.
They've dropped all the heavy hit points units already, and the playmaking card here, collector. But what are they holding? They have to have some pushes. Maybe something like a Hog Rider. Maybe June will have it. Maybe
Mega
some
Knight.
playmake. Maybe Mega Knight once again. Seems like Hamasu is just keeping a similar one to game number 3.
Yeah. Mega Knight did so much work for him when he wins that I feel like he had to include it into this game. But June responds with the P.E.K.K.A and the Night Witch. I mean, this is kind of hard.
It's a similar one. Has to use the bat to take care of the P.E.K.K.A there.
Nice zap there to take out the bats. Drops his own P.E.K.K.A again.
But June now has a double elixir collector on top, left and right.
So he gets to drop his own Mega Minion and another Witch, a Night Witch. The Fireball comes in, takes it out. Like, that Fireball is doing so much work for
It
him.
is doing so much work, but it is not being used onto the collectors. It is being used on against the tower and the units. So June is getting full value out of all those. See, he's full in elixirs already after dropping all that units.
Yeah, but Hamosu also made the most out of all his collectors. I don't think June actually managed to take one down. So even though he's not going for the elixir collectors, taking out the push and dealing damage to the tower is incredibly useful here for him.
Let's see, another Nightwood comes along.
However, getting to this point in the game with 2 elixir collectors up, he is putting himself in such an advantageous position.
Let's see. Mega Knight push was not enough. Seems like Mega Knight is going to be useful for June now.
Anything you can do, I can do better, says June in this match. Mega Knight taking it out. It's going to tank the Princess Tower and the Bandit and the other Mega Knight. This...
So many units, though.
Yeah, this looks like so much damage from June here. This should melt the tower.
Another Mega Knight drop, and that's going to be done. And June will come back into the series with that strong push at the very end. He was holding in to his own Mega Knight until the very end because he knew that Hamosu will likely to have some kind of defending tool.
And Mega Knight rips through most defensive tools that aren't in the air. Mega Knight is an incredibly useful card, but it did feel then like June was like, you know, I see you use that deck. I see you use Mega Knight. I see you use P.E.K.K.A. I'll show you how it's done. And takes a win.
Just well used, and compared to how June also had an Electro Wizard to stop. Or was it Hamosu who had the Electro Wizard? I can't quite
Yeah, he had
remember.
the Electro Wizard in this one too.
And he was using Fireball to try to defend all the time when June was actually maximizing his push by dropping down all the units, trying to use as less spells as possible.
Going into the last 40-50 seconds, like in overtime, the Elixir Collector is incredible tool because you're going to want to throw down as much as you can in offense. You're going to throw as much as you can in defense.
You have to take in favor from the beginning. If you end up just holding in that card in your hand, you actually have one less option to use as a defensive tool. And also, if you end up dropping it, it's a big resource to commit. 6 elixirs to be dropped down for no units. You actually have to buy a lot of time. When you're not winning the game, it's really hard to put that down.
Okay, prediction. There's about 15 seconds left here. Who is going to take this last game?
I would say a Korean player is going to win for sure, 100%. I can't be wrong with this.
Korean players have a 50% win rate in this tournament. You know that, right?
Yes, I do know that. But after watching game number 4, anyone can take this. I mean, Hamosu seems like he's not nervous at all after so many matches, and they are ready to go. This is a maximum series again, going to set number 5. And anyone can take this. If Hamosu takes this one and comes back, he still has a chance in this tournament. Let's jump into game number 5 to decide the winner for match number 3 of day 3.
Is this going to be a repeat of June's last final set?
Let's see.
We're already 10 seconds in.
Let's see if they drop anything big. Just a Mega Minion from Hamosu.
Electro Wizard in counter from June. At least it's a bit more action-packed than June's last game in the first minute and a half.
And he will actually drop down the Mega Minion from the beginning this time.
That feels super early, especially when Hamosu is dropping that P.E.K.K.A. and it's just going to take out the Mega Knight. Probably going to walk over and punch the Electro Wizard in the face as well. Good zap there to take out the bats. This P.E.K.K.A. is going to push over the river. What has he got behind it, though? Has Hamosu got anything? Does he want to put anything behind it?
Just a Mega Minion is enough. Seems like Hamosu actually brought in a very similar deck to what Hamosu had before, with the Mega Minion, Mega Knight, Electro Wizard.
Yeah, and Hamosu hasn't really shown much. There's the Fireball again. Dealing damage onto the... Oh! And a Fireball back from June. Both players are just copying each other right now.
A very, very similar deck with P.E.K.K.A. and the Bandit for Hamosu, actually.
Down comes Pekka again from Hemosu. And then a Pekka from June.
Seems like we have almost a very, very similar deck for both sides. Electro Wizard will do some damage onto Pekka before it connects.
Yeah, and this puts the Hemosu's Pekka in a slightly bad situation against
But Hamas
June's
wants to turn
Pekka.
things around as
Chest bomb!
Pekka versus Pekka and Mega Knight versus Mega Knight here.
They went for an epic chest bump and completely missed each other. But the Pekka from June should fall just before it reaches the tower. And yeah, almost perfect defense here from Hemosu.
But the Mega Minion also did so much damage.
I think he got 2 or 3 hits, and Hemosu is in a bad spot right now. But like as we've seen, like these are usually decided on a bit of a turn. One thing will happen, and then it will snowball from there to victory.
The Mega Minions, the regular Minions don't do too much damage, but Mega Minion does a ton of damage around mid 200 damage at once.
Bandit connects for Hemosu onto that top tower. Does deal some damage, but probably not enough at this point. But Hemosu's Pekka, this is kind of a big Pekka here. It should make it most of the way with good amount of health. Dark Knight Mega Minion, Mega Knight Mega Minion on the other side.
Let's see how
with a
June
Bandit
takes this one. He has double elixir, just building up all that elixir. I think he has just enough to defend. And also, you see that's an offensive tool now going down to the lane. Also, Pekka driving down onto the left side.
3 elixir collectors here for June. June is playing like a building simulator here. He's playing Sim City with elixir collectors.
See, Pekka dropped at one after one other, and also the Mega Knight seems like he wants to push into the left side. What does Hemosu has? He's just trying to buy time right now.
Yeah, the Mega Knight and Pekka combo is incredibly good here from June. It's going to push right through the defenses of Hemosu.
Oh, he knows that he's going to take this one as the Pekka is just slowly approaching in. Bandit did not do too much. Another Mega Knight dropped down along with the Electro Wizard. I think this attack will just do it.
I can't believe Jun threw out a bit of an offensive GG there, like saying, I've already won this game. Good game. I'll see you later.
The invest was just so big, and it seems like Jun will just take it. And Hemosu does not have too much to defend against the Fireball, but not enough. And that's going to be game. Jun will take the series with a 3-2. And Hemosu, after 4 games, not a single win yet.
But he did take a lot of sets. I think if it went down to sets, he would be relatively okay. Like, he's lost 3-1, 3-2, 3-2. Like, the guy is just unlucky in that last match.
But after tonight, June from a 1-1, he brought himself 2 wins in a row with a 3-0 and a 3-2. Now he stands in 3-1, right next to Yungela. And Yungela, of course, has one more match coming right up in match 4. But he should be feeling pretty good, as he also has the fans at the venue cheering for him.
Yeah, Hemosu being 0-4 now means he is out of the running. He cannot physically mathematically make top 2.
Well, that was a pretty hard game for both players, I would say. June even had some troubles against some of the offensive use like the Mega Knight. He had to bring in for himself to turn things around when June did not have the Mega Knight. He was losing slightly the pushes, the defenses that Hemosu had with the Mega Knight all the time. It was a big tool. Graveyard did not do too much, I would say, in this series. But having the right deck to counter your opponent, that experience really came in handy for June.
Yeah, the Mega Knight for both players definitely helped turn the games around. I think when one Mega Knight was out, the other Mega Knight was out, like, June looked better. But if June didn't have the Mega Knight, he was in so much trouble the whole time.
Yep, and those Fireball uses were really good. We will have a replay very soon. We do not know which game, but we will know as soon as it pops up on the screen. That was a good usage of Elixir Collectors. I think June, just knowing the moment when he takes the advantage, just drops down the Collector, kind of hidden, onto the back because he's already making a push. So is this a good time to invest for another long game? Maybe, okay, I'll just drop one. And that's when he really started to get his momentum. The snowball really started from that moment.
Yeah, it felt like June was actually playing Clash of Clans there, dropping those Elixir Collectors at the back. He had 3 of them at one time. And that gave him such a powerful advantage.
Is this? Let's see if this was the last game.
This is the last game. This is the last game of the match. Kind of an interesting choice. Like, it kind of felt like June just had way too much this whole game.
Well, let's see how they cycled through the decks here. As June does some damage with the fire spell. But the Mega Minion, of course, did tons of damage. Went down from the max to half hit point on that left bottom tower. That does not really connect, but he's making... See, he already invested so much to the Elixir Collectors. That's the thing. He's getting so much value.
Yeah. And at this point in the game, when you're getting double Elixir, it is so quick to get that investment back for yourself. There's the 3rd Elixir Collector. That is so much extra Elixir.
By this moment, he knows that he has a swing in this game. Even the Fireball does not care. He's just dropping all the units down as soon as possible. Just look at that. He knows that he has the momentum. He has a favor of going in with the attack. Just dropping all the units just like that.
Yeah, and that Fireball there really did kind of change the outcome. I feel like Hamas could have defended a little bit longer if that Fireball did not connect with all those units there.
Well, that was a great investment and uses of all his cards. I just felt like June really had that momentum going, and that's how he took the series. And he will end with a 3-1 tonight, as we also have one more match coming up between Jungang and Yungela very soon. So we'll be back very soon with match number 4 there in just a minute. And we are going into match number 4 between Jungang and Yungela. This will be the last match of the night, but woo, did not know we were coming in so soon.
I was expecting a few minutes there, like
at least few more seconds, as I was just moving around my cable here. This will be the last one, but Yungela may be ending with a 4-0 after taking all the wins, and Jungang seems to be having some struggles at the moment. When he was versing June in match number 2 tonight, he was swept with a 0-3.
Yeah, June definitely had Jungang's number, and I do wonder if Yungela is going to have his number too, because although Yungela and June seem to have this on-screen rivalry, I get the feeling they're kind of buddy with each other. So maybe they've been swapping some strategies with each other. And
well, let's take a look right before we go into the match.
윤겔라님이 어떤 덱을 쓸지 예상을 하긴 했는데 덱 상성이 좋지 않았던 것도 있었던 것 같고 손패가 좀 윤겔라 선수한테 운이 좋게 풀릴 경우가 좀 많이 있었던 것 같고요. 좀 아쉽기도 했어요, 이번에서.
중앙지옥님은 기블린이 쓸 것 같았어요. 잡을 만한 덱이 있었거든요. 그걸로 잡아야겠다 했는데 또 기블린통 들고 오셨더라고요.
정말 사용한다. 이거는 너무 좋죠.
중앙지옥님께서 저에 대한 정보를 이제 좀 많이 아시고 있기 때문에 덱 연구도 좀 많이 하고 있거든요. 광부벤이 나오지 않을까. 이번에 좀 새로운 덱을 필살 덱 같은 거를 또 준비해 왔습니다.
한번 지기는 했지만 윤겔라님 상대로 했을 때 덱을 잘 골라서 상성이 좋게 가져가는 게 전략을 잘 짜면은 이길 수 있을 것 같습니다. 한 번 졌으니까 이번 이길 수 있을 거라고 생각합니다.
중앙지옥님 패배자로 만들어 드리겠습니다.
Well, last time when they versed each other, it went all the way to set 5, a full series. Jungang ended up banning Minor. Yungela banned Hog Rider, which we have not seen at all today.
no, very interesting considering Hog Rider is absolutely everywhere on ladder. But we haven't seen it brought out once, and I think he was only banned once, right?
Not today.
No, he was
at all.
No, I think he was banned against.
Oh yes, very first one.
The very first game.
Yungela actually banned it against Hamasu. And we have Jungang here. He won against Hamasu only, but against both YouTubers, Yungela and June, he has lost to Yungela. Against Yungela, as you mentioned, 2-3, and against June tonight, match number 2, 0-3. So he has to come back majorly if he wants to go in the top 2 in Group A.
Yeah, he didn't look very good against June. He looked like maybe he understands that being 1-2 at this point is going to make it really difficult for him.
But look at here. It's not, he didn't have a single 3-0, but all you need to do is win. It doesn't matter how long it goes for. If you win the match, then you take those 3 points and you get, oh, he has 9 points right now, just leading in the ladder right now.
Yeah, and if he wins this, unlike Hamas, he is guaranteed pretty much to go forward. I don't think he can drop from the top 2. If he wins this, he goes forward.
Yuнгela has also made some mistakes, and along with the counters coming in, it had some big. But let's take a look at the ban card. I think that will be the biggest one. A minor ban against same exact bans from day number 1 when they versed each other.
Minor band and Hog Rider again. This is the second time we've seen Hog Rider get banned today.
Seems like Yuнгela really does not like Hog Riders at all, because he's not really using too many structures, buildings, to take the attention away from the Hog Rider, because Hog Rider just jumps over the river and goes straight to your tower and does damage. And I think that's the reason why he really likes that ban right now.
Yeah, you said Yungela doesn't like Hog Rider? From
Yes,
what I can gather
Yungela,
from
yes.
reading around, nobody likes Hog Rider right now.
Hey, I like Hog Riders.
Yeah, because you like cheesy stuff.
When I play touchdowns, of course. He goes straight through and I win. And not all the time, but it works very well. And I used to use lots of Hog Rider, but not as much.
Yeah, I've kind
I
of
moved away.
weaned myself off it.
And I'm using Expos now. And that's the way you climb ladder.
I think Mortar Turret is the way you climb ladder right now. Like, it's a little bit cheaper, but it's so good.
So let's see, as both players will have 3 minutes to set their decks after the ban. I do think these bans were very expected, as we already had an entire match with the same players, with the same bans coming out. And Yuнгela even had a minor ban in game number 1. Hamas actually banned minor against Yungela, so he can basically keep his decks. He does not need to make any changes. Of course, some changes may be needed, but as you can see his screen, he's just looking around his decks, just making sure which one will I use. Not really making any changes though.
Yeah, in the first round when he almost destroyed Hamosu in a few of his games, when he won, he won, right? With exactly the same ban conditions, those decks are going to be useful again. However, that does mean that Junghan could have watched those games, has the information of what he's going to be facing. He knows there's going to be Lava Hounds. He knows there's going to be Balloons. There's probably going to be Bandits. He knows what to expect. And if he isn't prepared for that, I feel like Junghan would need to look at himself, because that is a big problem. He should be watching those games.
Oh, that's a big... It's not a free screen, guys. He is choosing... It's a big commitment if you want to go Log or Zap. Of course, Log does more ground, takes out more ground units, but Zap also stuns them for some time, also takes care of the air units. So he was trying to decide which one's the better one. And some tweaks are needed at the moment, as Junghan is doing exactly the same. A minute still left to go, but when you have that much more time to think about the details, think about what you're going to do in-game when you already have your deck set up. When on the other side, Junghan, he's still figuring out which decks are the best when the Hog Rider is banned. I think Yuнгela is having an upper hand in this series already, just from the bans here.
I mean, Yungela has an upper hand in the fact that from what we've seen so far, Yungela is a much more accomplished player. He's a much more confident player, I feel. However, he does seem to be very emotive. So if you can get inside his head and frustrate him, I feel like you stand more of a chance of taking him out.
Well, let's see. Junghan seems like they're about to get the decks finished, as we only have 12 seconds on the clock now. And once the time runs out, they have to choose and go right into the game. And time is up, and the music changes to intensify for game number 1. And we're getting ready. And I'm I'm also bringing the hype as this is the last match, and Yungela may just walk out from OGN tonight after taking 4 wins after 2 days of Clash Royale here. Or maybe a big change coming out from Jungang, but let's go right into game number 1 between the two players. Here we have the arena. Jungang in blue at the bottom and Yungela in red on top.
Yeah, so just to put a bit of situation on this, Jungang kind of really does need to win. If he doesn't win, he's 1-3, which is the opposite of June. With 2 games left, June would have to drop both sets for Jungang to stand a chance at the end. So the Elixir Collector comes out. We have a Mega Minion here from Yungela, and just the Knight so far from Jungang.
Jungang also just dropped the poison to do some damage onto the Elixir. Seems like he did not have a perfect spell to take that out. Did some damage, but not enough. We drop down a Tombstone to take some aggro away from the air units.
Bit of a Baby Dragon as well. Like, we haven't seen many Baby Dragons today.
Baby from both sides.
The Ice Wizard should allow Jungang's Baby Dragon to take the win here. Graveyard and Poison both come down on that top tower though.
Graveyard will do some damage, actually connecting so well to the tower, doing tons of damage.
Yeah, that Mega Minion from Yungela doesn't quite know where he's going. He kept turning around, going backwards and forth without actually doing any damage.
The Ice Wizard also slowed him so much. Massive damage, almost 2k damage onto that Princess Tower on top right. And dropping the Knight here as the Golem is dropped. And now Yungela wants to make this big push.
I feel like the Golem is Yungela's kind of signature card. Like, he seems to really enjoy that card a lot. He's played it in most, if not all, the games so far today. And the Ice Wizard coming out, slowing down that Night Witch. Jungang looks like he's in a good position right now, but that Golem is probably going to connect with the tower.
Nice tornado there, actually. But the log took down the Tombstone and also the skeletons right after. Another Tombstone drop to take the attention away from the Golem. Will take the death damage, but that will be keeping all the damage away from the tower. Good defense.
Really good defense there from Jungang. The 2 Ice Wizards ended up doing so much for Jungang in that defense. And will he be able to turn it around? There goes the Graveyard.
The Golem will not help too much.
And a Poison.
Log is dropped already, but skeletons are connecting to the towers. Only 260, and the Poison doing a little bit more damage, but Golem is slowly coming in. But the Tombstone is working so well for Jungang. Again.
Yeah, with how slow the Golem is, he's going to have another Tombstone in his hand probably about now.
This is a giant push, but the tornado is just way too strong, and the tower goes down with the poison spell, and Yungela will be defeated by Jungang from the very first game. Jungang using the tornado to actually draw on Tenjin, draw all the Golem. Golem is so slow, but the tornado is very powerful.
Yeah, the tornado pulling everything away actually allowed Jungang to be able to survive. Like, if he didn't do it, I think Yungela would have taken that set. And as I said earlier, Yungela seems like a very emotional player. I feel like he might be upset from that because the Graveyard Poison did so much damage, but Yungela has dealt with that so well in other games.
Those spells, along with Poison, not just Graveyard, also with Tornado, if you just do Tornado Poison, it can basically take out everything in that tornado. When you have all those slow pushes coming in from the other side, you're glad to use the tornado right on top because you can just drag them out, not even close to the tower, just back to the bridge. And that's what Jungang did in that game, and Yungela really didn't find an answer against that.
Yeah, and the Ice Wizards bought so much time for Jungang to be able to cycle back through his deck to get another Tombstone to destruct the Golem again, making sure that the Golem does not connect on his towers. Incredibly good cycle play, incredibly good Ice Wizard play. But Yungela's Golem seems like without that Tombstone, it would have connected, it would have dealt a lot of damage. So I feel like Jungang needs to keep that in there.
And Jun just in the crowd trying to spy on his opponents here in the same group, as he will also
He has to play both of them.
Yeah,
again,
play them once again in this double round robin format, as all the audience is also playing Clash Royale at the venue. But the minute is up and the changes have been made for both players. Seems like they are ready, and Jungang feeling a little bit more comfortable after taking that game number 1. But both players are ready. Let's go and jump right into the Clash Royale arena. Game number 2.
Okay, so once again we have Jungang in the blue, Yungela in the red. Both players waiting to hit that magical 10 elixir mark. What do you think we're going to see here? More of the same, or are we going to see a slightly different style coming out from Yungela?
Oh, Tombstone again, because it is known that Yungela uses lots of miners, so miner was banned out. But after the miners banned out, lots of times he was dropping down the golem to heavy pushes, and Jungang using that Tombstone to draw the attention away all the time. I think he has an exact same deck possibly from game number 1. I'm talking about Jungang, of course.
Yeah, Ice Wizard, Baby Wizard, Baby Wizard? Baby Dragon, Knight, Tombstone. This looks very similar to the last one, but Yungela dropping the Inferno Dragon and the Lava Hound. He's bought a different deck and is quite air heavy.
Oh, let's see. Yungela just having dropping down some units. The lava is coming in.
And I don't know how much anti-air Jungang has apart from the Ice Wizard.
The Ice Wizard would definitely slow them down.
And a balloon and a Mega Minion coming in from the
side.
side.
Poison perfectly placed. Even with the tornado, does not
connect. He missed the balloon!
And balloon will do straight damage to the tower, and he realizes what mistake he has made here.
Oh, that tornado was just a fraction away from pulling that balloon in.
If he has any other spells other than Fireball, that's basically game. And Jungang missed that tornado. That's a huge mistake right there.
I don't know if it was a mistake. I think Yungela's positioning when he first dropped the balloon was right on the edge, knowing that a tornado would probably come in and pull it. And it was such a fraction of a centimeter, a millimeter away from pulling the balloon away.
Just micro inch there, as Yungela just needs to defend right now, dropping down all his air units here. Poison will take care of some of the units, but all he has to do is defend. He has Zap, Fireball, anything will just take care of. Oh, Zap will not be enough, but a single Fireball will take down the tower. So he's actually making an offensive approach, because if you get more crowns, it's better for you at the end.
Yeah, Jungang here seems to be defending really, really well, but this game, the push that he had last game doesn't seem to work.
Okay, so we had something on our screen. It seems like we have a lag. Maybe we'll have a rematch. We had something on the screen that we'll have an emergency maintenance of the server. Seems like we're having some free server. We may have to do a rematch on game number 2. So let's see. The game is over though, and Yungela takes the win, just like that. Well, with that, game 2, Yungela takes it. There was some slight issue with the client and also the device, and due to referee's decision and how dominant the game was going for Yungela, Yungela will actually win game 3, and we will move on to game 3 very soon. And things happen, you know?
Yeah.
We're all not too perfect, and things happen. And of course, hopefully not against me all the time. But life isn't fair, but this time I think it was a very nice decision, because
it was
Yungela
a very good call.
Basically, if you rewatch that game number 2, I think the tower only had like 100-something hit points left, and Yungela had Fireball, even a Zap available. It was going to be gone anyhow. Yeah,
Yungela won that game pretty much outright at the point where the issue occurred. The referee agrees with pretty much everyone here except for Jungang, I guess.
I think even to Jungang, it's pretty acceptable, because that push was just dominating. By the early game, if you're late on, if you're if you're down that much from the beginning, it's very hard to come back. Of course, it is possible, but against what he was up against, I believe it was pretty tough.
Well, you kind of have to try, right? You kind of have to give yourself the shot, like, if I could get a regame, I'll get it. It's kind of like in soccer when you get kicked in the box, you may as well go down holding your leg saying, ah, penalty, even though the guy didn't even touch you.
And it depends on the referee if he saw it or not. And I do love soccer, but things happen, and sometimes because of the referee's decision, game actually does change. The movement changes, the atmosphere changes sometimes. But this one, I'd say it was a fair call, a great call from the referee. And we are tied 1-1 between Jungang and Yungela now. And this last match of the night is becoming a little bit longer, but still a very great one. Still tied 1-1 between the two. I think they will actually make a lot of changes? I don't think so, from Yungela's point of view.
No, but I think this is going to throw both of them off their game. Like, they had a game plan going into game 2, and then suddenly there's this unexpected break, and, like, I feel like it might throw both of them off.
Oh, let's see. I think they actually had a good time to focus in after taking some break, maybe some bathroom breaks. But now things are getting ready as we're going right into game 3. Let's get into the arena. Here we go once again. Jungang on the left in blue at the bottom of the arena, and on top, Yungela in red.
Yeah, so both of them are waiting for 10 elixir, and hopefully we start to see some action sometime soon. Baby Dragon comes out for Jungang.
That's a change. Baby
Goblins come out for Yungela. That's probably just a cycle. Drops the Ice Golem as well.
Just to take some damage, but the graveyard is coming. But the minion...
Yeah, the minions do a really good job, but the poison takes them out. This graveyard should deal quite a little bit more damage. I was going to say a lot of damage, but then
about
it's 500,
but Yungela, realizing that graveyard push was not going to be the strongest, drops down the Elixir Collector. Now he has the chance to actually have it, and he put it on the left because the next set of graveyard will very likely to be on the right, so that Collector will have no threat against the spells coming out from Jungang.
Yeah, it's good placement there to make sure that he's not going to lose it as easy. Hopefully he baits out a rocket at something. Like, he wants to see if there is a rocket first. But just to see if there is. Mega Knight did so much, but good tornado again from Jungang.
Delaying as much as possible, but the healing comes in. Healing? That's the first healings that we saw in the game against the poison. It actually countered this poison so much here.
A Dark Knight connects to the tower, and Jungang is like, who the hell plays healing potions in this kind of setting?
The very first healing, and that push all the way in. What a counter against a poison spell like that.
Absolutely clutch choice there.
The heal potion was insane. The very first one from Korea. And drops on. Still the game's not over. Still a minute left to go. But even the King Tower only has 1500 hit point left. Jungang is in big trouble right now.
Yeah, it was such an interesting choice by Yungela. Like, I don't think I would ever think to put a healing potion in. Like,
well, if your opponent likes the poison so much, you can just cancel that with the healing, just like this. See, the Three Musketeers just get healed up like that. The poison actually doing so much more, but still, you kept your units alive, doing push onto both sides now.
Mega Knight coming down onto this bottom tower should connect. Oh, nice Knight placement to pull him away though. But again, the Three Musketeers should take out the Ice Wizard. But unfortunately, there's just not a lot left after that.
Healing comes in. These minions are doing tons of damage after the heals. They're not dying to those attacks coming out from King and the Queens. The Musketeers takes down the second tower. This is GG. There is no way. The third one, I believe this is the very first one to get all the way into the King Tower.
Yeah, it's the first one I can remember going 3 towers to 0 towers as well. Like, Yungela basically threw Jungang completely off his game. I don't think he knew how to react to a healing potion. It's not a card that we see very often.
It was the first one from Korea. That we had 3 games, 3 days, and let's do math. 3 times 4, 12 matches. Just making sure math during cast is It's a curse for sure. So just to make sure, and I don't have my calculator TI-83 with me, so. Well, out of 12 matches, this is the first healing potion we've ever saw, and great way of countering the poison spell. What a play!
I think that's the first healing potion I've ever seen. Not even just in like this competition, like in the Crown Championship. I'm actually talking like my own ladder games. Like I've never even thought, I'll drop a healing in here. It's not a card that you think of using. Like most of the time you just want to deal damage.
It's a rare card for sure. It is a rare card with, I believe, 3 elixirs used, and if you can counter that against the poison spell just like that, poison actually did last so much longer with a bigger radius. So it did quite a damage, but it kept the units alive. That was the big tool. And they will have a minute, and for Jungang, he's in deep trouble. He loses one more, he has to go home with losing one more against Yungela, and Yungela will actually have a 4-0 if he wins this game.
Yeah, Yungela will pretty much guarantee his qualification for the next round by winning this, and Jungang will be in a very similar situation to Hemosu. Actually, Jungang's only win, if he loses this, his only win would be against Hemosu.
Let's see. And seems like Yungela is having some counter. Now that healing potion is also in Jungang's mind right now. So do I actually does not use the poison spell, try to have something else? No graveyard, no tombstone. Just trying to have some other decks now. I think that's very needed as we go right into game number 4. Yungela feeling confident as he is leading with a 2-1. This series can still be anyone's game, but Yungela very likely to take the series now after watching that healing potion. But we are ready. Let's jump right into game number 4 as both players are also ready.
So here we are again.
Welcome to game number 4. Do you think we're gonna see another healing potion?
I think we're gonna see cannon card.
Let's see. Well, Jungang changing up a little, bringing the barrels here.
Yeah, and the knight coming out as well for Jungang.
Oh, the Lava Hound already dropped. Yungela wants to finish this with the air deck that he has.
Yeah, that air deck is incredibly good as well. Good fireball there, taking out the knight and most of the goblin gang, allowing this Lava Hound to reach the tower.
Tesla, leave for the first time in Korea, just got the buff, and Lava is actually aggro to the Tesla now. Even the balloon seems like it will right after.
It's definitely going straight towards that Tesla. A very interesting choice. I was thinking that we would see it. A Dart Goblin.
Nicely used. And Jungang's just bringing everything in his hand right now to just take the advantage right now.
Yeah,
Jungang passes through.
This is the first Dark Goblin I've seen in a while too. Like, I feel like this is Jungang's ladder deck that he's bringing out today to see if he can get a win against Yungela, because everything else he tries just doesn't seem to hit.
It seems like he's using lots of defensive tools, and it's been working pretty well. Let's see if he drinks. Okay, the perfect one against the single damage. He's drawing a lot of the attention away, and also Barrel doing scratching damage onto the towers. If he can defend that well all the time, I think eventually he will take the turret. But let's see the second push coming out from Yungela. He has the tools to defend now.
Yeah, Jungang has a lot of answers. It's whether he can ask the right questions.
Actually, this goes down. Yungela used Lava Hound before dropping in the Goblin Gang.
That just kind of melted, disappeared all in one go. Like, it was there 1 second and the next minute it's not. I think it blinked and missed it.
Rocket took both the Lava Hound and the balloon down. Seems like Jungang just needs to defend this one as he's getting even more with extra barrel onto right now. See, that was the timing that Goblin needed to be dropped. But last time it was way too late from Yungela. He did not have enough elixirs because he had to drop Lava Hound right before.
So this looks like Yungela should be able to reach the tower with both the balloon. Oh, the balloon completely ignores the Tesla coil.
But the rocket takes both of them out. And seems like Jungang will have will take this game. And we are tied with 2-2 as the time runs out. 2-1 GG. Jungang coming back in the series. We are tied up, and just like what we talked about Tesla, we were wondering why it wasn't coming out at all after the patch. Seemed like that was the one that got the most buff.
Yeah. So it got a 41% damage increase, but a slight reduction in its hit speed. It went from 0.8 to 1. But I thought we wouldn't see it today because this patch came out very late in Korean time, so they probably hadn't had a chance to play around with it. But it seems like Jungang read the notes and was like, oh, I'll try what it's like in the previous one.
And it was the best structure to actually use it against all the air attack that was coming in. The lava loon were all getting attention to the Tesla. They were drawn into that side instead of the tower. So, well, Yugela, he couldn't really make the push as effective, you know.
Yeah, do you think we'll see another Tesla coil here, like another Tesla tower? I keep getting confused with old games that I used to play. Like I'm like Tesla coil, Tesla tower. Like I'll just call it a Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla tower. It's all good. But here we go. We saw some changes. No more graveyard coming out from Jungang, and he has really turned things around and also tuning his deck just like that with a snap decision. Lots of unpopular cards came out. The Dart, Tesla. The Knight also did tons of tanking when he was throwing out the barrels. Seemed like Yungela actually did not have the perfect counters against it. Maybe a single log could have handled all the ground units.
Yeah, it definitely could have. It would have taken out the Dark Goblin. It would have at least done quite a bit of damage to the Knight as well. Like, I feel like a log there would have definitely helped Yungela. However, do you think Jungang will go on another kind of off-meta deck?
Well, let's see. The time is up, and it all comes down to this final game, 5. And these players are ready. Their minute is up to change their decks. Let's see what kind of decks they have for the final game of the series. The final one for the night. Let's see the match. Let's see the game 5 between Jungang and Yungela.
So this is it, the final set of the final match.
This is it, and Yungela's just breathing right now. Just waiting for the move.
I mean, he can kind of relax in this game. Like, even if he loses, he's still in a commanding position in the group.
Okay. But still, you do want to win every single one of your match. Drops down the bandit, and also Elixir Collector.
Rocket coming out to take out that Elixir Collector. We've seen that trade quite a lot, and I'm still unsure as to whether it's a good trade.
Well, it is when you have that available all the time. It's a bandit, Elixir.
Dark Goblin again coming out. This is the same deck as last time.
The barrel. Seems like he's keeping a very similar one. Now, this time, the log is in his hands, and that's a good one when you're trying to deal with the barrel and also the ground unit that comes over the bridge. You can basically take both of them out with just one spell. Only 2 cost.
Yeah, but I feel like Jungang was prepared for the log because he put that Goblin Barrel so far back trying to avoid it, but it still managed to kill 2.
And so Yungela brings a Mega Knight now. Doing tons Tesla. So Jungang, she kept the very same deck. Healing once more. This Mega Knight doing tons of damage.
Yeah, but the Goblin Gang take care of him quite quickly. They take him out the back. And again, this Ice Golem is going to drop pretty quickly as well. I feel just about, 1 or 2 hits from the tower should finish this
just
up.
to save all the damage that could have went to the tower. And the log perfectly placed once more. Slightly more favor for Yungela at the moment, but did show a lot of his cards, even the healing. Let's see how long Jungang wants to wait, because against the Elixir Tower, if you wait for a long time, you will be losing because that worth will be kicking in for Yungela.
Yeah, Mega Knight coming down, taking out the Knight. Princess against Bandit. Bandit always wins, but the Bandit is going to run into trouble with the Goblin Gang.
Nice log in the middle to do damage onto all units and the Tesla tower there.
Took out the Princess. Always a good trade, the log for the Princess, because the Princess deals so much AoE damage.
The barrel comes in right after the log. He does not have the perfect spell to defend all the goblins.
He didn't really defend that very well. Like, all the units were too busy attacking other things, and the Goblin Barrel actually did quite a lot of work.
Yes, about 500 plus hit points off that tower now. It seems like it's about even or even better for Jungang because he can actually focus onto the left side.
That Mega Knight comes out again, dealing so much damage. But the Tesla Core looks like it's going to be just enough here to take him out. The log, he allowed one hit, which might just be the difference in this game.
Let's see how the cycling works. If he actually gets one or few more logs in and also the barrel onto the left top, that may just be game. Tesla actually defending so well.
Yeah,
placed right in the middle.
This dude's so well trading for perfect value.
He dropped minion
time.
and also the Mega, but the rocket comes in and that's gonna be game. Jungang takes the series with a perfect rocket at the end, and Yungela knew that the rocket would be coming in very soon. He just had to cycle.
Well, I think he was holding it for most of the game, right? Like, he was holding that for a very long time. It must have been in his hand. But Jungang is the first person to beat Yungela.
Yungela will face his first defeat as he will actually tie with Jun with the 3-1. We have Tai up on top. It seems like we also have Tai in the middle, except for Hamusu.
I was gonna say Tai in the middle.
Never mind. Never mind. Hamusu drops down and Jungang. So we have Tai in the first place and third and fourth. Jungang being the third.
But Jungang is touching the qualification for the next round. Like 2-2 when the other two are only 3-1. If they drop another set and Jungang wins, he's tied it all up. He's level with Jun. He's level with Yungela.
This was crazy. We had some crazy series tonight. As match number 1 and 2, it was as close. Match number 1, it was basically decided with who got the spell first. It was cycling of their decks, and that was it. It was a long night, and I did love all the matches, all the close ones. Two full series tonight.
Yeah, 2 full series, but a 3-0. Jun beat Jungang 3-0. And then Yungela loses 3-2. Like, does this mean that Jun is probably the best player in the group right now in terms of if we are passing like the
you're talking about how many games played and how many like 3-0s, 3-1s, and 3-2s they had. I think Jun stands on top, but it depends on how many crowns that he actually got, because Yungela, one of his game, he actually got 3 crowns in the last series, so maybe he will pass Jun in that way. But we do have replay of the last match. Seems like this may not be the last game though. Let's see which one this is.
It's hard to guess right now. Like, there was a lot of similar games.
Let's see, Barrel.
I mean, I was expecting to see the healing potion game, but I don't think this is it.
Oh, from the lava, we see, I think this is game 4 actually.
Yeah, game 4.
The first Tesla being dropped down with the balloon, getting aggroed into the Tesla. Actually, Tesla placed onto the right, and that's why even though balloon was placed all the way into the right, that got the attention to the Tesla tower there.
It's
Nicely
good
placement.
Princess deals a lot of damage. Like, she's really good at taking out these very light decks.
Really good for lots of horde in the air. Just 2-shot right off.
But I mean, at this point, it's incredibly back and forth. Like, yeah, Jungang has a little bit of an advantage at this point, but that there is what did it.
Yeah, the timing was a little bit slow there because he was deploying the Lava Hound before the Goblins. He saw the moment, I think, the moment he deployed the Lava Hound, he saw the barrel just flying out and he was saying, oh my, I made a mistake here. I should have just had the Goblin instead, because he did not have, this is game 4, he does not have log. I believe he only has a zap available.
Yeah, I think I blinked at the same time again because that tower disappeared and I didn't quite see how it went down again.
Don't blink, you'll miss it.
But it went down so quickly. It went from, what, 1800 HP down to 0 within a blink of an eye. Like, that was a really nice push.
Yeah, tournament level barrel does so much damage if you don't just let that pass by. And Jungang took it over Yungela. That's his first defeat. Should be feeling a little bit different after losing one that went all the way to the full series. But that's it. We had all 4 matches, and you will get to see on screen very soon who's standing on top. As we did mention it a little bit, but it's a lot easier to read if you see it on screen, of course.
It's also nice to confirm that my calculations are correct, because I'm not very good at calculating at all.
Well, basic algebra. That's all we need.
I suck at algebra.
Well, with the updated score after day 3, Group A, Yungela and Jun stands on top with 3-1 plus 9s there, and Jungang on 3rd place plus 6 after 2-2, and Hamosu was close once more, but never took the series again tonight.
Yeah, he has a possible 6 points, so he is completely out of the running. But Jungang, Jun, and Yungela will all be fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they qualify for the next round.
If Jungang defeats either of those YouTubers standing on top, or if they drop a single series against even Hamosu, can actually be super effective in this group, because if he actually takes off one of the top contenders, 3rd place can still come all the way up. Here's our next matchup for Group B. We'll have lots more. The Expo Master, will have him return. Maybe he will finally use a Expo Master himself later on.
I don't think so.
We'll
he
see.
didn't use it last time, and he had it used against him, kind of like a bad mana thing. But he's playing Chasu. Zebra is going to play Ido. Expo Master against Zebra, and then Ido against Chasu.
Yep, and we have lots of double round robin, so a lot more matches from all these players coming up in Group A once more later on, but Group B next time in day number 4. Well, how was day 3, Simon? How did you think of all the Korean players were doing? Actually, we got to see some cool cards like the Healing and the Tesla.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of interesting strategies, a lot of interesting pushes. A very different style from the first day in this group, where it was very, very chip-based. Now it seems a lot more like Group B did on their first day.
I think with the double round robin format, there is a lot more room for them to actually change their decks, because they have to show what they have prepared for each day. I think they can change it a lot more. And similar for Group B, after the patch, because they will have few more days to actually prepare, maybe the patch will actually come in very handy, as we just saw Tesla at the very end. But that sums up for tonight and day 3 Global Korea. We had lots of exciting matches, but we will have another one coming right at you very soon in a few days. So keep tuning in for Global Series Korea. And we will be back with more Clash Royale action.